before we start the actual selectmen's meeting, so we're going to get right to it. Public hearing number 1, bioactive LC medical marijuana products manufacturing facility license renewal. Questions, comments from the public? Seeing none. Questions? Madam Clerk.
The bioactive is new, not renewal. It needs to be amended to a new application.
So public hearing number 1 is for a new application, not a renewal, as my paperwork says.
Yes.
All right, I apologize. Now I'm totally confused.
Why don't you give an explanation?
Well, I'm just looking at the notes.
The code enforcement, so there is an issue with bioactive and operating for a period of time without an license. And per legal counsel, due to our ordinance, their application for renewal has to be in within 60 days prior to expiration. It was not, so it has to be treated as a new application. Our application process for both is the same, but it needs to be notated that it's a new application and not a renewal because there's no license to renew.
Which is something we learned about an hour ago.
Yes, so that's why it was not updated on the paper. And any further questions about the notes, I would direct to the code enforcement officer and the town manager.
Sure.
So we'll get to that when we get to it on the selectmen's agenda. This is public hearing, giving the public opportunity to ask questions, comments if they have any. If they don't, we're going to move on to the next one. Public hearing number 1 is closed. Public hearing number 2, Faded CC LLC adult use marijuana cultivation facility license renewal. Questions, comments from the public? Seeing none, anything from the board at this time? Close public hearing number 2. Public hearing number 3, Thompson Lake Cannabis adult use marijuana product manufacturing facility license renewal. Questions, comments from the public? Seeing none, anything from the board at this time? Seeing none, public hearing number 3 is closed. Public hearing number 4, The Farm doing business as Fast Ellie's LLC medical marijuana store license renewal. Questions, comments from the public? Seeing none, board. Seeing none, public hearing number 4 is closed. Public hearing number 5, mass gathering, Oxford Plains Speedway, Oxford 250 event, August 28th through the 30th. Questions, comments from the public? Seeing none. Comments from the board? Seeing none, we'll call the selectmen's meeting to order. Please join us in the pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
action on the minutes.
Second.
Motion and second discussion. All those in favor? Vote. Adjustments to the agenda.
I have nothing, sir.
Public comment. Please state your name and town you are from if you have public comment.
We're Wayne and Justin Robichaud. We own Oxford Towing and Recovery. We've been here before, as some of you know, some of you don't. We've been having a problem with, as far as rotation goes. It was brought up at the last meeting. The town police chief stated that he uses a rotation list that is for all the tax-paying businesses in town. We have a list of all the calls from dispatch, which 95% of them are one company. He also stated that he's been in contact with all the towing companies about a new accreditation process that he's doing. We have not heard anything about it, except we go in to see him. And for a year and a half since we came before the board before, he keeps saying, I'm working on a local rotation that's going to be all of us. I'm not the only one that's not getting calls. We had a meeting with the town manager. We were told in front of the town manager we would be put back on rotation. We were never put back on rotation. We have a copy of the actual ordinance, or not ordinance, but the order that the police chief gave my son, stating a lot of things that are not being done. It states that it establishes procedures for towing vehicles by the employees of the police department and what's supposed to be done by the wrecker companies. It states in this that all calls will go through dispatch. He stated he doesn't want to go through dispatch because Russell's Towing will be called in because he has an issue with Russell's Towing. Russell's Towing should be allowed if they're within, according to this, any town bordering Oxford has a right to tow in this town. Calls are not going through dispatch. They have calls at the end of our road and they call the furthest tow truck away. We had a situation where there was a car upside down in the river with the people still trapped in it. And when they were talking to dispatch, they said, we already have a towing company en route. They had called on their cell phone, bypassing dispatch. The purpose of dispatch is dispatch records everything. Who gets called, who asked for it, was it owner requested, was it police requested? None of that's being done. The police department is choosing one department in one company in this whole town to do all the towing. That company, he says he's making a new accreditation thing. I want to know what's going to be on that. Is he going to require brand new trucks to eliminate these other companies that are not able to do that? I can give you guys all copies. I've got the record rotation list. I've got the calls from dispatch that show who's getting all the calls. And there's one company on almost every call that gets them. There's an order here. I don't know if he has the authority. We elected the selectmen to make the rules and regulations for the town. He's changing the rules and regulations. As far as I know, you hired him to enforce the rules and regulations. I could be wrong. I'm not a politician. I'm not a lawyer. I know that we had no problems. This thing's been in effect since 1998. There's never been a problem. We've never had to come and stand before you. If you wanted to tow, it states right in here. If you want to tow for Oxford, you go through dispatch. If dispatch approves you, you get put on that list. We've done all of that, and we're not getting any calls, none. We pay our taxes. We're here. We're not getting calls. I came before, I tried to bring in my own rotation list that I tried to work up, looking at all these other departments in Maine. There were issues with it. So then we went and had a meeting with the town manager. And he's very well aware of that. And ever since then, I don't remember how long ago, but it's been a long time. And nothing's been done about it. The police department calls who they want. They use their cell phones to make calls. That's not right. It's not fair. Dispatch is there for a purpose. If the selectmen decide that it should only be Oxford companies towing, all you gotta do is call Zane Loper up at the county administrator's office and say, anybody that's applying to tow in Oxford has to be a business in Oxford. Then when they ask for the next available towing, it won't be Russell's, it won't be Marston's, it'll be one of the 4 companies that are already here. And yet, there's only one company getting all the calls. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's right. I don't know. He says he's having meetings with the towing companies. We've never been asked to go to a meeting. He specified that in the last meeting. I wasn't here, but we watched the meetings. We know what was said. So I'd like to know if we can do something. Do we need a special meeting where this could all be brought out? And
So what do you have in your hand? You have the copies for the board members? Is
Yep.
there copies you can get to
Can I?
the town manager? It's not something we're going to review tonight, obviously. We can.
Well, I'd like to go over a couple of things that I've highlighted so you know what
Can I answer some of this
Hang
question?
on. So you have roughly 3 minutes for public comment. We've got a lot to do tonight, so, and I'm not.
I understand that. I do understand that,
We're not
but
gonna have a back and forth discussion. You've said your piece, you've given us the paperwork, give us a little bit of time to review this. As you said, we have new board members here. We will get this on a selectmen's agenda in the very near future, and you'll be notified when it's on there. We can have a further discussion then.
Now, how will we be notified? Because the first time I came in, we were told that and we were never notified about
When we put this
anything.
on the selectmen's agenda, you will be notified. If I have to come to your door myself, but I'm sure somebody's gonna give you a phone call. This is on the agenda, and when it's gonna be.
Thank you.
Chief, if you have something you have to say, it is public comment.
Should be said.
Well, again, you heard what I told him. We are gonna discuss this at a future meeting, but
I'll
floor
make
is
it real
yours.
quick. First of all, I got nothing against Russell's. Russell's is a tax-paying business. I try to do it for our tax-paying businesses first. Your towing company is not on our list for towing. I met with Justin about a month and a half ago. I gave him the paperwork, which is currently being updated. And I've been dealing with issues with overcharging from your company. And I had a phone call from a police chief from another agency with the same problem.
No.
Not using.
And the very last thing on here states if there's a problem with pricing, you go to the Attorney General.
Sir,
We can debate that
we're
later.
not,
Yeah.
this is not where we're gonna have this discussion.
Well, he-
You said your piece.
Yeah.
The chief has spoken his piece for now.
Yeah.
And this will be on the agenda item for a future meeting. Any other public comment? Going once. Business items, 5.1, employee recognition. Adam or
Fire chief's gonna.
Unless you wanna come up.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
You'll have to talk loud.
So tonight I just wanted to recognize Lois Pike. She has been an EMT on Oxford Fire Rescue for 39 years. She has not only been on Oxford Fire Rescue, but she's been a board member, a budget committee member, a rec committee member. If there's a committee on this town in Oxford, Lois has been a part of it, if not once, probably 2 or 3 times. And she has been a part of Oxford Fire Rescue even since you were truly volunteering, donating your time for furthering your education. And she recently decided to retire. So we wanted to make sure she was recognized for her 39 years of service. So congratulations.
Chief Lewis, did you want to say anything? You not to put you on the spot. You usually have something to say at most of our meetings.
Meow, meow, meow.
Maybe later as we go.
Oh, no, I, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lois.
5.2, review approved bioactive LLC medical marijuana product manufacturing facility license. Who wants to start?
So this was discussed in the public hearing. The code enforcement officers expressed concerns about this business. Is Shane out there? Yes, there you are. Do you want to speak to the violation notice and so forth? Bring the board up to speed, if you will.
So, the town clerk and I, Kathleen, were reviewing some of the cannabis facilities paperwork, and she brought to my attention that we had a business, biotech, that was not, had not renewed the license. Long story short, I made contact with, Mr. Littlefield and determined that his license had in fact expired by 5 months. And he continued to operate his business under the cannabis license for that duration. So he was issued a violation notice. He was instructed to stop operating under the cannabis license that was expired. And now we're here.
So what would your recommendation be? Do you have any recommendations or?
So when I signed off on the paperwork, I signed off as to recommend to deny the permit. And the reason being is because he demonstrated the likelihood, he demonstrated that he will willingly, operated without a license after it was expired. He stated to me that he was unsure if he wanted to continue in the cannabis industry as far as edibles. He wasn't making enough money at it. He had some product he needed to get rid of. And the way I interpreted it was the math suggested it was better to just continue operating without a license, exhaust whatever product that he had, as opposed to spending the money to renew the license if he wasn't gonna stay in it for the next following year.
And the violation notice that the code officer wrote is in your packets if you care to.
Dated March 6th.
Yes.
That's like a- Did you print that one? So if the board chooses, so the board has to, under section 10 of the marijuana licensing ordinance, the board has, they can, decision on license application, revocation of the license, the board can revoke a license or not approve a license if the applicant has failed to demonstrate compliance or failed to maintain compliance with all requirements of this ordinance, with any other ordinance of the town, including zoning ordinance.
So in my packet, and the clerk pointed out this is no longer a renewal of a license. That license has expired and was not renewed in a timely manner. So now he needs to put forth a new application, new license, correct?
So it needs to be treated as a new license application. Our application process is the same, except after speaking with legal counsel, I then went back through to make sure everything was in order, and come to find out that the state license that we require to see has also expired. So his state license for commercial food processor, what he supplied to us, expired February 28th of 2026.
So does he have a current state license that you have a copy of?
I do not have a copy of.
Mr. Littlefield is here. Would you like to speak? And
Sure.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. If you
No,
don't
that's
want to, you
fine.
don't have to, but
For the record, Shane said he had no problem. I explained why we're delinquent. Certainly wasn't because I wasn't making any money or lazy or stupid. I missed the deadline. Been a caregiver for 6 years, processing edibles in the old abattoir by the Androscoggin Bridge. For the record, I've been there 30 years processing food. Last year, I made a decision that come to 2026, I was gonna try something different. I was gonna go to adult use. Everybody, unless they live under a rock, can see that medical is diminishing. Adult use will eventually probably be maybe the only thing in Maine. They're putting really severe regulations on us caregivers, and it made sense to me to maybe just go with it and go adult use. Upon further digging into it, I don't like adult use at all. I think the restrictions are crazy. I think the mandatory testing is necessary, but expensive, it's just difficult. All the products that I've made, all my labeling would be obsolete because the compliance restrictions on milligrams don't fit medical. So I can make no excuses for 5 months, but I will tell you that I did not process as of October 21st. Cannabis makes 20% of my revenue. I have lots of things I do there for 30 years. I don't know how long I was going to go back to medical, but here I am. And, speak about taxpayers, I've been in this town 30 years. And if you're gonna take away my ability to make money after 4 months of being delinquent, I think that's ridiculous. I would make one offer. Please reinstate my license. Don't make it effective now, make it effective October 21st. In essence, I'll pay the $3,000 for 8 months. That's the best I can do. I wasn't being sneaky, I'm not hiding. It's just how it played out.
Well, I don't think anybody here is insinuated that.
Well, when somebody says that I
Certainly
continued
on
to
this
sell
board.
product and I didn't until it was run out, that is not, he knows better. That's not what I said.
Well, we're not here to debate that.
Well-
He said his piece, you've said your piece. Now, I don't believe we have the ability to backdate your license, and I don't have any interest in backdating your license if that's what you're asking us to do.
I'm trying to come up with a resolution here other than no.
So, I don't think anybody's made a decision yet. What I need to know is, do you have a valid state license today?
They certainly have it in the office. You can confirm that. I've sent it. I have not gotten it
I don't
back.
have any means of confirming.
Okay,
that.
but it's in the pipeline.
So, you do not have an active state license today in your possession.
I do not.
So, in my opinion, we are premature in acting on this because one, we can't approve your license if you don't have an active state license. That is the law.
When you refer to a state line, you mean a Department of Agriculture food processing license?
Madam Clerk,
Yes.
Yes, I don't need a state license to do what we do as a medical caregiver. And if I didn't make edibles, I wouldn't need the Department of Ag license either.
but you do.
But that is what I do. Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I can't believe I have 2 delinquent licenses, so it must look horrible. But all I can do is go back to, I've been there 30 years. Like, that's gotta be worth something, that I'm not some fly-by-night by the seat of my pants.
Anybody else from the board want to comment, questions, concerns?
I would disagree that if he doesn't have his state license, not like he can do it at this moment.
I mean, you're required to have a state license to get the caregiver's license, right? Am I wrong on that?
Our ordinance, and state law, it's mandated. Our ordinance is very clear. It is a must that must be provided.
We really
And
have no,
state law requires to be able to make those edibles, you have to have this license.
I'm not making edibles. I have not made an edible since my license expired. Why would I do that if I was gonna change lanes and go adult use? I know it looks horrible, but I have not been over there processing cannabis products.
I'm not. even-
So, but it's being a
Say
reason
more.
that I'm being delinquent and being judged, and I did not.
So you had a license. You had a manufacturing license
6 years.
and it is expired.
You mean a food manufacturing license? I've had that in Maine for 30 years.
Your medical marijuana facility
I don't-
license for manufacturing.
Yes,
You had a license for that.
I did have a
That
license,
license expired in October.
correct.
You had a state license to do the same thing, I'm assuming.
A state license to make food, not necessarily cannabis. I have a food processing license.
Mr. Chair, can I send this around to the board to see the commercial food processor license is for fruit juices, other types, CBD, THC infused confections, gummies. And that is a license that for our ordinance, I'm required to see for
which has expired.
expired.
Do you have a copy of that license?
With me, no.
But you're aware of what license is going around?
I would like to look at it, I guess, just to
I'll
be
give
on
you that
the
opportunity.
same page.
This is expired, and this is the license you said they have the paperwork, you just don't have it back yet.
This is a license he submitted to me with his application.
Is that what he needs? Is that what we're discussing? Is that the license he needs to?
That's part of the application process per our ordinance that we need to see a copy of a valid.
Do you need this back?
Yes, I need to put that in this.
Do you want to see this?
I could be a cannabis extraction company and not need that. That is for food production, not making concentrates. Yeah, February 28th. That date I did screw up on. But, make a big deal out of having 2 of them delinquent. I'm sorry for both of them. But that one did catch me by surprise. I'm self-employed,
So
I'm
are
the
you
only guy
saying-
over there.
Are you saying the other license didn't catch you by surprise? The one that expired?
Yes, no, that was intentional because I was going to adult use. I really was.
And now you're here saying
I'm not gonna do adult use. It doesn't make sense to me.
you want to renew your medical manufacturing.
Absolutely. Start from scratch, whatever you guys, but
You understand this license needs to be,
I gotta have it in my mailbox within a week, maybe
Well-
2. I don't know Augusta's timeframe, but I've certainly applied for it.
okay? So Do I have a motion from the board, or anything?
I got a question. Mr. Littlefield, when did you say that you had stopped selling anything out of there regarding this?
At the time that we said we're gonna go adult use, I probably had 15 to 20 customers. I've lost all of them.
Date-wise though, when did you stop selling?
I haven't sold product in a couple months, and I don't know if I'm gonna sell anymore. I've made notice that I was out of that business. If this goes forward, and I hope it does, I will literally have to start over.
So,
I've got all the contacts, it's not gonna be as dismal as that, but I'm gonna start over.
okay,
I've got no other choice.
so you haven't sold out of there for a few months?
Correct.
Okay. So what is this paragraph in here? The town clerk's office has made several attempts to contact you regarding renewal of the license. Messages were left, no response was received. On March 6th, I made direct contact with you and confirmed that the facility was still in operation despite expiration of local license.
I made reference that I was there working. I don't know what that means. And for the record, I carry my cell phone like a lot of folks, like a pacifier. It is my lifeline.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying I didn't get contacted, but it's amazing how I got the call on the 6th and how I missed all the others. Just making an observation. And I wouldn't have dissed that. It probably would have forced my hand, but I was still jerking around with this adult use thing. That takes a long time to look into that. I've been fingerprinted by the FBI, for that process. I was really gonna get into it, but I think it's cost prohibitive for me.
Okay,
The
so
adult use.
I guess the point I'm asking is, so on March 6th, you were in operation.
Nope.
So, am I lying?
Define operation. I do 80%. I can give you a list of things I do. Look, a lot of guys do
I'm talking
cannabis,
about
that's all they
marijuana.
do.
I'm happy that you do whatever for seafood, that's
So
wonderful.
no, I was
I'm
not in
talking about
operation on the
this.
6th.
Anything else from the board?
Just so we're clear, we can't even approve this license at this point.
That would be my interpretation.
So let's table it. And when we have all the proper permits, we can revisit this and make a decision. There is a,
Is that a motion?
that's a motion.
The last thing I'll say is on the application, it gives you a choice whether you produce food or not. If you're not a food processor, you do not check the box, you do not have to send your license. Now, I'm going to do the license, I already told you it's in Augusta. But I don't think that has anything to do necessarily with mandatory having that license to okay me tonight, to go back to making,
I'll be honest with you, I need a little more time. Is a civil penalty of not less than $100 per day, not more than $2,500 per day. I think your office, is nice, but we have to review all that, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely would, my gut right now, it'll be at least $100 a day fine for not renewing the license. If you want to now renew the license and get back into it, at a minimum, that would be where I would be at. Now, this is a board and we have to vote on that, but that, we all make mistakes. I'm with you. Believe me. I'm the last one that's above reproach here.
that's an $11,800 mistake. Yeah.
That's, unfortunately, it's a civil penalty of not less than, I don't, that's just the rule.
You told me that there'd be no fine. Why did you have the right to say that?
Sir.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
This is
Sorry.
select board's meeting, not your meeting,
Yep, sorry.
not his meeting. So, do you have a copy of the marijuana ordinance?
Sure,
You do. You don't need to be provided with one. You have one.
I have one.
I had a motion to table this for a future meeting.
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of tabling? It's a vote. So you will have the opportunity, once you get your stuff in order, to submit this application. I'm not saying it's gonna get approved or not approved. I don't know what, you need 3 of the 5 to approve your license. So once you have your state license, and that's very specific in the ordinance, what you need. If you have any questions, you know how to reach the clerk.
Yes.
If you're not getting the answers you want from the clerk, you know how to reach the town manager.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
5-3, review approved Thompson Lake Cannabis Adult. Oh, no. 5-3, review approved Faded CC LLC, adult use marijuana cultivation facility license renewal.
Can I go out this door?
Yes, you can.
Second.
Motion in the second, any discussion? The paperwork's in order, Madam Clerk. Comments, Chief, Code Enforcement, Fire Chief,
All good.
All good?
further discussion? All those in favor? Vote. Can be that simple, folks. 5-4, review approved Thompson Lake Cannabis adult use marijuana product manufacturing facility license renewal.
Second.
Motion in the second, discussion. Seeing nothing, all those in favor? So vote. 5-5, review approve the farm doing business as Fast Ellie's LLC medical marijuana store license renewal.
Second.
Motion in a second, discussion. All those in favor? Vote. 5-6, review approve mass gathering Oxford Plain Speedway Oxford 250 event August 28th to the 30th.
Motion approved.
Motion in a second, discussion.
How many?
That's over 5,000, correct?
He says number of tickets available, 14,000. Does that sound right, Chief? Over 14,000.
Anything from the police chief,
Yeah, we talked, I don't have any issue with the permit at all.
fire chief? Board members? All those in favor? So vote. 5-7, review approved mass gathering Oxford Plains Speedway for weekly racing 2026 season.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion is second, discussion. Chiefs,
All good.
all those in favor? So vote. 5-8, review approved Daddy-O's LLC license renewal, liquor license renewal.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion in a second, discussion. All those in favor? So vote. 5-9, Oxford Hebron Transfer Station Agreement, Russian cardboard. Town manager?
Sure. I'll keep it short. Hebron reached out to us and asked if it was possible for they could dispose of their cardboard, their corrugated cardboard from their transfer station here. We're already doing that with brush. That's been working well. As I said, my only conditions were I don't want it to cost us money, so it either needs to be revenue neutral or making us a little bit of money. In talking to Ed and so forth, right now cardboard is making us a little bit of money. We're not making a killing at it. So the agreement that you have here is that we will continue to accept brush and recycled cardboard. And at the same time, if we find that it's not advantageous for us anymore, we can say no, thank you, and end the agreement, within 30 days. So I think it's a neighborly thing to do, and it has a slight benefit for us and a small revenue stream.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion in a second, questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? So vote. 5-10, review award town mowing RFP.
All right, so we received a handful of mowing RFPs, as you can see in your packets. I'm just gonna go ahead and breeze through those real quick, the ones that we received. Nettles of Maine for $110,000. Green Lawn Solutions, $174,630. Precision Property Management, $63,500. Evolution Grass, $41,570. PB&J, $33,600. Krebs LLC, $15,000. And then we had one come in after the deadline, and that was Pine Peak Landscaping for $78,000. So I asked Jim Bennett, he wasn't able to be here with us tonight, he had a prior engagement, but I'd asked him to call and, reach out to folks and check references and stuff with me. So he reached out to the bottom 3 bidders on that, and he received from Krebs, they have 2 employees, he found good reviews from contacts that he reached out to. PB&J, they have 3 to 5 employees. Highly recommended by the folks that he spoke to. And then Evolution Grass, they have 6 employees, and he received good feedback regarding them as well. His suggestion would be to go with PB&J Yardworks for $33,600 for the mowing of the town properties. And then we did budget in rec for the ball field, $17,600. We budgeted under public works for the other town properties, $26,400 for a total of $44,000. So based on that, the 3 lowest bidders would all fall budgetarily there. Based on the public works foreman's recommendation, I don't have any reason to disagree with that. I know that Krebs is $15,000. But a couple of years ago, we did go with another company that had minimal employees, and it just didn't seem like it'd be nice to have somebody with a little more capacity. I guess that's a concern of mine with going too small, is the lack of capacity. So I would tend to agree with Jim.
Do you know if that's what the recommendation from Jim was based on, was the size of the company? Neither are, overly large, but we're talking about mowing grass on a weekly basis, or every other week basis. These bids are just so far apart.
So I think one of the reasons that they're far apart is there might have been some confusion on the cleanup portion. So we did not include in the bid the Public Works is gonna do the spring cleanup. So that the expectation is they're gonna do the weekly mowing and they're going to maintain. So if they go there and they go to do the mowing and there's branches, regular day-to-day stuff, but they're gonna prep everything, and then the Public Works is also going to get things ready for winter as well. At the end of the season, if there's anything to do there, but.
Just to clarify that, because I'm a little confused now. There was confusion where? With the bidding companies?
I suspect that by the vast array you have of all the way up to 174, is there's some that thought they were gonna be doing spring cleanup.
I think you're adding in a couple of them, because it did say that.
So
I suspect you're right. I mean, when I looked at it, that's kind of what I thought too. I think, obviously, I got a little bit of knowledge in this area. I think, unfortunately, I think the Krebs bid's probably, I'm not sure you can sustain that price to do it. I think, it's just not even reasonable. So Jim's recommendation to go with, the next 3 for me is fine, with the next 2, either Evolution or PB&J. You got an $8,000, little less than an $8,000 difference there. The only thing that would probably sway me one way or the other on those would be the equipment. PB&J have the proper equipment as well too. This isn't, the Home Depot lawnmower job. You definitely gonna need to have some equipment, and probably a little bit more when that equipment breaks. So, but I don't have a problem either way. If you guys feel good about either PB&J or either one of those 2, I'm good with. I kind of would have been nice to see a list of equipment or their ability to handle, like you're saying.
In the future, we certainly can include, please list your equipment if that's what the board wants to see.
Well, it's again, awarding a bid, there's follow-up, they're gonna have to enter a contract. So, again, I don't see a lot of the insurance, so there's an insurance binder on here that's required. This is probably not the time they need to provide that, but they need to show it at some point before.
Yeah,
Sign a contract.
Correct, when they sign their contract, they gotta provide all of those things. I also, so that wasn't 10,000 pages, some,
Yep, no,
some of that stuff is in there.
just as long as when bids awarded, if the bid's awarded, all that is checked and entertain a motion. Well, yeah, we can do a motion. Anyone?
I'll make a motion to go with the highway foreman's recommendation.
I second.
Discussion.
My initial thought looking through these is, obviously cost, and these two are pretty close between Evolution, PB&J. The only reason I tended to lean towards Evolution is because they're having some municipality, experience already. They're taking care of the town of Raymond. It's the only reason I kind of went that way. I'm sure if the town hired him, the equipment's probably there, the people are there. But I'm not against PB&J, if that's what you want to do. That's my thoughts.
So I was looking at the invitation bid, and if I'm missing it correctly, it doesn't say that things need to be mowed once a week or once every 2 weeks. It needs to be mowed when it needs to be mowed. So if there's a lot of rain and sun, it needs to be mowed more often. If it's a drought, it's not gonna need to be mowed as often.
It needs to be mowed and kept in a good appearance. Let me,
All fields need to be playable. Cemeteries need to be presentable. As long as all that's
Dana, we can,
spelled out in the contract.
we should also just put it out there that either one of these bids, we have allotted money for it, right? And we're underneath what we've allotted, but also, if I remember correctly, last year, we estimated that the highway crew spent about $66,000 doing this, correct?
been a lot of man hours. Yeah.
Approximately, yeah, just labor wise, right? So if we're hovering around 40 one way or another, we're certainly saving some money since last year.
Anything else? All those in favor of the motion? Let's vote. Review and award public safety building RFP.
I'm gonna keep this one pretty simple. We put out a bid for, camera system and security system related items for the public safety building. We received several bids, which is wonderful. They range from $83,000 to $187,000 to do this project. We don't have we don't have those funds available to do that project. I'm very thankful to the bidders for putting in their information, but at this point, not having the funding, I would recommend that we reject all bids at this time, and the fire chief and I revisit this and scale the project back to make it a little more manageable for our needs. So that would be my recommendation. All the bids are, however, in your packets if you care to look at them.
I make that motion.
Second.
Motion and a second to refuse all bids. Discussion. All those in favor? 512, fire department ambulance lease purchase continued.
So this is something I've talked to the individual board members about. We have our new ambulance coming potentially on the 6th of next month, right? So, last year we have the insurance money that we received from when the other ambulance was involved in an accident, and then we've also raised and appropriated the $89,000 that last year with the anticipation of the first payment. I have waited on moving forward with the lease purchase agreement because we were so far out on receiving it. We didn't need to be paying interest on that. But now looking at receiving that, we need $165,903. I would ask the board to maybe consider taking this money from the fire equipment reserve, where we have funds available for truck purchases and so forth, and we not lease purchase this vehicle, or we just buy it outright. We already are lease purchasing the mini pumper, which we've discussed in the past. So I would need your permission if I was going to do that.
What is that money, sorry,
No, go ahead.
what was that money set aside for originally?
So originally, we had $200,000 that we received for an insurance payout. We raised and appropriated $300,000 at a town meeting a couple of years ago for fire department vehicle purchases. And then, we have the 89 that we put in there. So, when you look at the warrant article, this is something the board has discussed in the past. And that is something that, the board, when we discussed it in the past, I think there was varying opinions, but, money was raised and appropriated for fire department vehicles, so.
So. Isn't there some TIF money we can use for a portion of this?
Not for the ambulance, I think when we talk about the,
We had that discussion.
mini pumper, I think that the mini pumper is something that we could look to help us with TIF money. Or help use TIF money. So that's where I would recommend that we make up the difference on the mini pumper, is using TIF funds.
Gotcha. You need to hold.
I make a motion to follow the town manager's, recommendation.
I second it.
Motion and second discussion. Other than this, it's gonna save us money, interest on this purchase, so. All those in favor?
Thank you.
513 transfer station. Snow pusher. Not really the right time. On annual snow.
So I believe Ed's here in the back, so we had, when we sold the old load, when we got rid of the old loader, we ended up selling the old snow pusher that was with it. We received about $1,900 for it. Yeah, we received $1,900 for it, and one of the things that Ed would like to do is we have a small loader, and he would like to be able to get a small snow pusher for the small loader to be able to do some of the tighter areas of the transfer station. Am I saying that right, Ed? So the new snow pusher is $2,550, and he's requesting that money come from the transfer station reserve account. Just some food for thought. We've got the little loader. We certainly don't want Mr. Knightley using his personal pickup truck down there, plow with and so forth. So I don't know if this is a good option. Is it a good option to think about the public works, the 1 ton that we're getting rid of? Is that suitable for use at the transfer station? Is this the best option? Use the big one? I'm looking to the board for thoughts.
So you did get a new big one, right?
Yes.
Can't use that?
What happens is when we go in through the building, at the transfer station to make the loop, you can't go through with a tractor. I've been doing it with my personal pickup truck for at least 2 years, and then I was told I couldn't do it, so we're back to square one.
You have $12,580 in the reserve account. Is that counting the 1,900 for the sale of the old pusher?
Yeah.
Is that not counting?
No, that's included.
It's included in the 12,500. What's the plan with the old plow truck? What's the new ones here? Is that being sold? Is that gonna be repurposed? Does it have value to move it along?
So, yeah, no, I mean, the thought process was that usually what we do is if we don't have a purpose for a vehicle, we sell it. So, but if this one, talking to Jim Bennett, the foreman, I mean, he says it still has life left in it. I mean, we could repurpose it.
And we talked the other day that was going down the road.
It's the one ton.
That's probably way too big to go through that building.
So we're just talking about plowing with this thing and really no other use, maybe here and there to the town office, whatever. Why wouldn't we spend $600, buy the pusher, because we raised the 1,900 off selling the other one, and we sell this thing for max value for what it's worth at this point?
Is that a motion?
It's a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? 3-2, motion passes.
I'm not including, so.
Town manager.
I'm gonna keep it very short. Just a reminder to everybody, town meeting is gonna be at the Oxford Elementary School this year on June 6th at 10 a.m. That's a Saturday. I'll leave it at that. Get to the budget stuff when you're ready.
Selecting items?
Is it a town ordinance or is it something that has to go through the state, the train horn at crossings? Meaning, can it be a no horn situation at a road crossing? Does that make any sense saying that?
You did make sense. I would have to check to the state to find out what the parameters are on that. If that's what you want me to do. I don't know.
Yeah, someone reach out to me about that.
Any other selecting items? I don't leave the train very often at my house, so I'm okay. Sign warrants.
Yeah, but it's still not.
Took that license up.
I did that.
Because it's still going to have 18 So, and so they were one of the better, and they were one of the highest. We had 10 people, 10 different companies. And each and some of them like 30 companies. He's a fireman.
Down there. Takes all night.
He's like one of these.
Yeah, just so you don't. Like general.
Yep.
No, that wasn't. Yeah. But it's like, just it's 100 feet. Like, you know what I mean? It's just so yeah, we go to doors and then because back then I would go and multiply it and they would.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Number 9, Board of Selectmen budget session. So the regular selectmen business is concluded for the night. Now we're gonna move on to the budget items that we have scheduled this night.
First up will be the library. I think I saw you back there. Do you want? Yeah, you can open your door. You so enjoyed it the other night with the budget committee, so.
Third party request. Right.
So whenever you're ready, ma'am, feel free. Yes, thank you.
I'm Carolyn Bertuzzi. I am the Vice President of the Board of Trustees at Freedom Homes Library. My budget is pretty straightforward. These are our operating expenses. I've given a brief narrative about each of them and why we're requesting what we're requesting. We have been able to lower, I guess, the amount we're looking for in terms of building and grounds and lighting expense. We had some projects that were not regular yearly expenses, so I don't need to ask for as much this year as I have last year. So despite some rising costs, we're asking for slightly less than we asked for last year.
So the total 46,406?
Yes, please.
Is that in this large packet of paperwork somewhere?
Yes, yep, that's right. You have your library request. It looks like this. You're welcome to use mine if you like.
No, where is the book of that?
Mine was right in the front.
I'm not the only one looking for it.
Mine was back behind.
Well,
So, if you don't mind, whether,
Yeah.
what's the hours of operation of the library?
So we have, I think, Mondays, meet with Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 to 5, Wednesday night, 6 to 8, and Friday and Saturday, 9 to 12, so it's 17 hours per week.
Okay, based on payroll.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. So, how much volume of people in the town do you think use it approximately, not?
Sure. We don't have an exact count, it's always something that we question. We also, I know, have some seasonal friends from Casco, right, over the
Sure.
So it's not something that she counts regularly, but clearly in this electronic age, it's also diminishing.
Is there any do you have computers in there or something along those lines?
Yep, so the state provides a computer, so patrons can come in and use internet free of charge, use a computer, if you go to printer access.
And is this, I'm assuming this is like its own entity, right? It's a nonprofit, is that correct?
Correct.
So, does payroll go through the town or did you go through?
No, we have a provider that we use,
And
to process all this for us.
a lot of the other third-party requests had, like, financial documentation. Do you guys have any income other than the town?
So we have some occasional donations that are under about $1,000 a year. There's one regular contributor, this year I think it was around 800, and then others are, $50 a year or $100 a year. And then when we get the money from the town, we use a money market account, so we have some minimal interest. When we knew we had the projects in the past 2 years, we did our own prize calendar fundraiser. so that we can have a little extra to put toward it. But it's really it, primarily what we get from the town.
Just the ordinance is here for.
You looking for the third party request?
Yeah.
You don't believe the other guy can do it in there, but I did bring it up to
I just want to make sure they have.
I have read it with this.
And I think, I'm not to speak for everybody here, but some of us have been here numerous years. We're very supportive, we've been very supportive of the library, and we cut the library a lot of slack because there's things that we are supposed to get from third-party requests.
Okay.
I want to make sure you have that.
Okay.
So regardless of whether this is approved at level requested or not, in the future, I, for one, need the information that's supposed to be given to us, just like we require all the other
I
requesters.
don't have that.
Don't have, and I think that's been a problem in the past, so. It's a small amount to fund a public library. It's not the town's library. The only other question I had is, you mentioned Otisfield. Otisfield residents can come and use this library
They do, and we put a budget request in at their town meeting also, but
because they don't have a library.
we've gotten minimal, funding from that. And do you remember what they gave last year?
$700.
$700.
We asked for, I think, $15 per person. I think we had an average of 135 people come from Otisfield last year. What we went back to the books.
135 people that come from Otisfield to the library.
Summer people, whatever, from Otisfield, yeah.
And you sent a request to them
Yes.
of a certain dollar amount?
Yes, and
It says
presented it
$10
in
a
there.
person, but they never did it to us. It seems like they give a lot more to cash than they do March too.
Okay. Again, that's something that would go in this report, of stuff that we should see.
Okay.
And we should see it because it's in the rules. Anything else? Nope. Entertain a motion on the library funding request.
Make a motion to approve the request amount of 36406.
Second.
Motion and second, further discussion. All those in favor? Is that in here? What they need to provide?
Yes. Thank you.
I hope not sure, the comments.
Fire EMS.
Okay. All right, so for fire EMS, I have to get myself situated here. So I'm gonna do like I did the last time, I'm just gonna go through each line item and provide some thoughts along the way. The first thing I'm just gonna say is regarding the payroll, just like with the police department, it's not an adversarial thing, but the fire chief and I have two different objectives here as far as what we're trying to get to, as far as budget amounts and so forth. She put forward a payroll that was higher than the payroll that I put forward. I put my amount in there, and what that is, it reflects is a difference of, she'll explain herself a little bit more when we get there about the raises and so forth. The payroll you see from me, it includes using the pay matrix that we have. It's included in your packet on how we calculate, each individual's payroll. I added 3%, which is the COLA we've discussed, plus the merit on the base rate. When you look at that, I did add some to the advanced in paramedics, because we do want to attract those higher, certified folks. So with that in mind, that's where this payroll number comes from. So, the regular payroll for full-time, $588,649. Overtime at $50,000. Per diems or part-time, this is another area where the chief and I are on a little bit of different pages here. Traditionally, we have had 2 per diems, 7 days a week, working at the same time, Sunday through Saturday. So there's 2 of them on at the same time. That's in addition to the EMS providers that are working as well. As a cost savings, I'm recommending that we consider removing one of those per diems Monday through Friday to reduce those hours. And that would leave, you'd have the 2 people on the weekends, but during the week, it would be the fire chief, the per diem, and the 2 EMS providers. Just to be clear, everybody is cross-trained. I think it's 1 person, or is that, yeah. So everybody's cross-trained to do each thing. So that would put per diem at $132,370. Social Security, $47,803. Medicare, $11,180. PFMLA, $38.55. Health insurance, $140,602. Retirement, $75,936. Workers' compensation, $64,971. Telephones, $2,864. Office supplies, $2,750. General mailings and such, $50. Equipment supply, so this is something that's a little bit different this year. It's $68,000, which is a $47,000 increase from last year. But one of the reasons for that is that prior to the budget season, having some individual conversations with selectmen and just kind of trying to see what the preferences were, I was told that really would like to see some of these every annual purchases, if you will, like the hose replacement, SCBA packs, air bottles, turnout gear sets, things that we buy every year, taking that from capital and putting it in the operating budget to more reflect that cost. So that's what I've done. You'll see that that cost has come out of capital and is now in the operating budget. So if it wasn't accounted for here, it would have been in CIP, but it's now being reflected here. So $68,000 even, and that's also laptops for the trucks, turnout gears. That's 3 sets of turnout gear. Usually we've been buying 2 sets of full replacements, and then 1 set's kind of like the piecemeal one. If we get a pair of pants, pants that's ruined or something like that, we can piecemeal them together. Clothing, $6,000. Medical supplies, $20,500. Gasoline, based on our bids, $3,420, also based on the estimated gallon usage. Diesel, based on our bids in the gallons, $99,447. Software, $5,402. There's a slight reduction. Printer copier maintenance, that's the photocopier lease, $1,656. Professional services, $25,462. Physical drug testing and immunizations, $4,000. That is an increase from last year. And that now having full-time, we just simply were under budgeted last year on that. Rescue billing remains the same at $21,000. If you remember correctly, the board increased the rescue rates a couple months ago, and that was at the recommendation of the medical billing company. And as a result of that, the rate is staying the same at 6% to bring us to a total of $21,000. Insurance, this is the one that came from the municipal tab that we broke up to all the different departments. So liability insurance is $15,927. Memberships and dues is $1,000. Training and conferences, $7,000. Equipment maintenance, $10,000. Now that is a slight reduction from last year based on what we've been seeing. However, you do see a $10,000 increase in the vehicle maintenance, bringing that up to $45,000. And that brings us to a total fire department proposed budget of $1,364,844. I don't know if you have questions or if you would like the chief to give her explanation on her thoughts with the payroll and per diem. Like like that?
Sure.
Hit on that?
Yeah, sure. So, I'll start with the full-time line since it's first on your paper. With the support of the town, obviously, it was passed at last town meeting that we would have the 8 full-time spots. We have 5 filled at this point. We did have 6. We lost a full-timer to a bigger city, better paid department. I'm asking obviously to keep those as the town recently just voted for the 8 as I presented we needed them. The second part is the per diem. Since when I started in the department in 2009, Monday through Friday, there's always been 4 people on plus the chief. I think if we go backwards, almost, what's that, 17 plus years, I think that's detrimental to the response of our department. 20% of the time at Oxford, we respond to a second call after the first call happens. So if the ambulance is out with 2 people, and that second call comes in, you're leaving us potentially at 1. Yes, I'm there, but sometimes I'm in a meeting in Auburn, I'm in a meeting in Scarborough, I could be here and not able to respond. I think it's a dangerous gamble to take that. So, the increase in that line to get us back to what we're currently at, which is 3,120 man hours, is $73,539, and I would urge that you guys, consider keeping us status quo. The increase that I didn't mention, I kind of forgot in the full-time fire, I had asked for additional money. The budget committee had hit on, well, why do you think people are staying per diem and not working full-time? Why aren't they coming full-time? I think there's multiple aspects to that, but right now our pay scale isn't competitive within our area, and that increase would make us competitive, and you're not seeing that increase reflected in this budget line. To make that happen, it would be a $29,382 increase from what you see.
You're saying that you asked for $29,000 more than what's,
I asked for $29,382 more than that $588,649.
and that correct me if I'm not reading this right, but that 588, what you have on here, Adam, is a 12.9% increase.
Yep.
According to, how do we get to a 12.9% increase?
So, what I look at is we have the base rate is where we're using the 3% and the merit, and then when you look, I'm also suggesting that we look at increasing the rate for the advanced EMTs from $4 to $5, and for the paramedics from 5 to 7. And when you look at their roster, when you combine those all together, that's.
It's how you do 12.9% increase. So depending on your level of certification, you could be looking at a 4% increase, or you could be looking at more. Well, still not 12.
So we also averaged, like as you said, we used the higher number, like if we got paramedics, which right now we don't have besides them. So we took the significantly higher, and it does come out to be that way. I don't remember, we had the spreadsheets.
Yeah, so yeah, go ahead. Yep, well, we've also, yes, I mean, there's also part of that is the salary for the chief as well, and making it so she's making as much as one of the patrol sergeants in the police department as well. That's a few dollar increase for her as well.
Which is
45. Even.
so out of the 8 that you were gonna hire, you hired 5,
Yeah, initially we had 6 and we're down to 5.
and out of these, are they both EMT and firefighter?
They're
I
all
mean,
cross-trained, that's the minimum standard to be hired full-time. Like I said, Adam had hit on it, but all of our members on the fire rescue department are cross-trained except for one person right now. And then obviously I'm excluding fire police because they're not fire EMS providers, but all of our fire rescue personnel are cross-trained except for that one. And she is currently in EMT school, so with any luck, she will be cross-trained by the end of May.
With the vacant positions also, just for clarity, I am making an assumption that one of them is a paramedic and making an assumption that one of them would be in advance. For those two spots.
And we also have 2 full-timers in advanced school right now, which is a grant program. And we assumed that they would also become licensed as their class ends in June. That they would be licensed at that, which will also give them an increase.
And that's built in the budget.
Yes, sir.
Health insurance line, you have 6 enrolled and 3 buyouts. What do we have currently? Knowing, I mean, you can only guess what a new employee is gonna be, whether it's gonna be a buyout, whether it's gonna be full family insurance, or whether it's a single. And there's a substantial difference in cost. So do we have currently 6 fully enrolled? Do we have 3 in and 3 out? Do we have a mixture of?
Do you have that handy, Beth?
Yeah, we have some buyouts, some.
So you have 3 buyouts, 1 family, and the rest are single.
And this number represents 6 fully enrolled and 3 buyouts. So you're estimating new people being on the insurance, potentially, which is good.
Yeah, we do take the gamble usually on what level, but
Why don't we go the other way? So I for one was one of the selectmen that wanted some of this regular items put on the regular budget, not in capital, but laptop for a truck. That can't be something we need to buy every year.
Hang on, can we go back to, are we done with payroll? Not just our payroll, but I know that's telephone, 19.3%. It looks like 4 vehicles and 1 cell phone. Does every vehicle have a cell phone? Is that what the deal is? Is that what that is?
It doesn't have a cell phone, we have Wi-Fi, so it has a SIM card, which is registered as a cell phone,
Gotcha.
which is how the laptops get updated and we can do our patient care reports and stuff on it.
And that's, looks like it's about $500.
And
Per
then I
vehicle.
have a cell phone.
Yeah, plus the.
Yeah.
So we're running 2,800. Is that a bid item? Like, what do we do with it? How do we get that? Is Verizon, are we stuck with Verizon? How?
we're not stuck with
So it is
Verizon.
19, did they just go up this year, almost 20%?
So it went from $2,400 to $2,800.64.
Yep.
You know, we get it through Verizon.
Okay.
Yes, the costs do go up, but they're usually pretty government competitive.
Again, thank you for clarifying. I just thought the vehicles had phones in them. I didn't know.
No, it's just like the police cars. They have their cell phone enabled.
So I got a couple of questions about labor and stuff before we go down further. Can we go back a minute? Can you clarify what you said about the pay raise for the chief?
Sure. So what this proposal has is that it would be an increase for the chief. So to get her to $45 an hour, which would make her so she would be the same rate as a patrol sergeant at the PD.
Okay, and how does that compare to other chiefs in our area? Fire chiefs,
I have not done that comparison.
can we get that?
Sure.
My next question is, what are the struggles that you're having right now, staffing wise, approving 8, but we only have 5, right? So you're using per diem, right? Okay. What struggles are you facing right now, not having those 3 full-time ones compared to using per diem?
My current full-timers are getting forced because when per diems call out sick or aren't able to fill in a shift, I force my full-timers, which means there's only 5, so they're getting, and if you're not familiar with forced, it's kind of said in the word, but it's mandatory, they don't get a choice, they have to work those shifts. Yeah.
How often does that happen, approximately?
Well, in the past 2 weeks, they've all gotten forced twice. But up until then, it was probably once a month.
So just, it doesn't happen all the time, we're just in a
No,
phase
because I
right now
don't
for-
force, like if we were to have 4, scheduled on shift and one person calls out sick and I know I'm gonna be around town, I'm not gonna force that person. I'll try to stay available, cause obviously then I'm paying overtime and I have to be careful of the ebbs and flows of all of that.
How many people per diem do we have currently on the list that you can choose from?
So we have 31 people total, and that includes the full timers, so take 5 out of that, and now what, we're down to 26. And then some per diems I see every week, and then some per diems I see once every quarter.
And how does our pay for per diem staff compare to other places? Are we competitive? No, okay,
Can we back up? You said the number of per diems we have,
26.
26. How many of them are rescue? How many of them? only fire?
Everyone
Everybody is,
is,
can
yeah,
be
so-
either one.
So just think of anytime you see an Oxford fire uniform, they're all EMTs unless you find my one that's a unicorn right now.
So you have 26 per diems that can drive an ambulance or a fire truck.
So, yeah, and then subtract fire police out of that, which I have 6, so 21, or 20, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
20, and we still struggle to fill per diem shifts.
Which is, if you look around the area and state right now, that's very normal. If you look at our partners in Poland, same, if you look at any per diem department, you're gonna find that unless you're a department that is significantly paying more. The other thing too is a lot of our per diem people work full-time elsewhere. So they work full-time in fire rescue, and if they get forced at their full-time job, they then vacate a last minute slot, you know what I mean, there's a domino effect in our career field.
Not undifferent than police.
Correct.
So, do we have a minimum requirement for per diems to work? Do they have to work X number of hours a month? Or
Yes,
they're no longer employed?
I did recently put out an SOP because I was getting frustrated with paying for people on the roster and all that stuff. So we now have, this is the first full quarter at the end of this month, that they have to work 72 hours minimum a quarter, which averages to 24 hours a month. They can do that in whatever fashion they want. So if they want to work 72 hours in 1 week, 324s, they're welcome to do that, and then I don't have to see them until the next quarter. But this will be the first quarter that takes an effect. They'll get a notice from me if they did not meet their minimum of 72 hours, and they will have next quarter to both make up the hours from this quarter that they didn't meet and their additional. If they don't do that, then they could lead to termination if they're not meeting those hours.
Do other departments have this type of policy as well for their per diems?
It's hit or miss. Some departments do, some departments don't.
I'm not in the field, so forgive me.
Yeah.
That sounds way too confusing for me.
It's,
That's not my field.
even in police, like, I think the manager can attest, like, reserves sometimes have minimum, and it's just because safety concerns, you know, we change operations, we add new equipment, I need to make sure that they're familiar and that they're not gonna confuse my ambulance with a PACE ambulance versus XYZ agency that they work for. I need to know that they know where everything is, where they're going, streets, all that kind of stuff.
One of my concerns, and I guess over here, is with adding the full-timers and increasing 29,000 for salary increase. I don't disagree that we're probably off on some of the hourly rate. I'm on record here in Southern BC, most of our town employees are compensated pretty well. I would say if there's somebody that is lacking, it would probably be your lower end firefighter. But with that being said, we're looking at, and I'm using an old spreadsheet here, so it was when we had 9 enrolled in the Acadia plan. It's running us about $16,000 a year for an employee for health insurance. It's on average, this is depending on what plan they take, but it's an average number. That goes on top of the number of adding in that employee, as well as 21.05% per employee, you know, on top of, when you add the number of 29,000, you have to add 21% to cover payroll taxes. That's like all added cost on employees that I know you know because you have it broken down in here. So sometimes it's easy, you know, like, oh man, 29,000. It actually is compounded is a fair amount more. It's probably close to 30% more when you start adding in all the gear and everything else. So is there any way, with health insurance being such a huge factor, is there any way possible to move some numbers around and up your per diem pay so it's more attractive to be here as a per diem and reduce full-time employees where we have to compensate them with paid time off and health insurance and, you know, all the other expense that comes with being full-time? Is that anything you've explored?
Yeah, there's always a way to increase numbers, and you're right, we could increase per diem pay. But our per diems who became full-timers took a pay decrease, which, as you said, they're gaining benefits, they're gaining retirement. It's just not comparable to others, so I wanted to focus on the biggest deficit before working on the smallest deficit. Like, our full-timers are in the biggest deficit right now in competitive wages, so I wanted to focus there. But I'm happy to up my per diem wages, they would love you for it.
You would have to reduce someone, that's the suggestion there. It's not just up that. It's addition by subtraction.
I know where you're looking at, I'm just saying.
I had a couple of questions to find out how things are going currently, but Beth, maybe you could help us out, or Adam, sorry, either one. Last year, our budget for payroll was 521,160. How are we doing year to date on payroll currently? Are we gonna meet or?
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at an entry on not too long ago. We're looking to be over on per diems, but obviously under on full timers.
Okay,
That's how
so
it's looking right now.
the projected total budget, we're gonna pretty much break even what we budgeted for last year.
We'll be a little bit under, obviously, if, you know, all things go. I mean, right now, we're over on other lines significantly, like vehicle maintenance, we're over significantly currently, so
Yes.
money that we may have saved out of benefits for folks that we haven't hired, we're, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul a little bit there.
Okay.
If we're being.
So I just want your honest opinion, okay, and from a tax purpose, right?
Of course.
I understand, I already know what you're gonna say from your chief, and I respect it, and I understand that. If it's working now with 5 full-time and per diem, why can't we continue with that and help reduce the payroll cost on the on the residents of the town?
I would argue that it's not working.
Okay.
Because, like I said, my full timers are getting forced for per diems that aren't as
So-
reliable or committed, like a full timer.
So
We do have per diems that are committed, so that's not fair. I don't wanna.
No, I
You know what I
understand,
mean?
maybe not enough.
Yeah, but like our per diems, we're not their bread and butter, right? We're not giving them their healthcare, all that stuff. My full timers, they're all in, right? So, because they're getting everything from us and they show that. So
So I feel like I see 2 scenarios. We either, again, from a taxpayer's point of view, to give the taxpayers options, we cut back to 5, increase the per diem, like he's saying, to make that more attractive for them, so it's easier. Hopefully you don't have to force anyone else to work. Or if we continue to fund the full-time 8, we cut way back on the per diems. I mean, at some point, there's gotta be some give and take.
Yeah. Can we negotiate? So can I talk about what the budget committee did, or no?
No, let's just do it.
Okay, that's fine.
I frown on that because the budget committee has their own
That's
vote.
Okay.
And
my bad,
I
sorry.
did notice on my updated spreadsheet here, and we mentioned it, we have 3 buyouts. We have 6 enrolled and 3 are buying out.
On the insurance.
For the insurance, right?
that's what's budgeted here. Currently, we don't have
Okay.
9, we've got 6,
Yep.
5.
We did
But we
this,
have to budget, assuming those full-time positions get filled,
Correct.
unless they're not filled.
I guess I would say to your question, what does it say to the full-timers who are all in, leaving them as is, or only giving them the COLA and not adjusting them, and then adjusting the per diems? You know what I mean? Are we then gonna lose the one or two or all of the full-timers we have if we pour into the per diems who are only here when they want to be here? If we don't adjust our full-timers, which are the people who are here 48 hours a week, are we gonna lose them now because we didn't adjust anything?
Maybe we reach a compromise there too, and we give some to the full-time and some to the per diem, just working within the parameters of some numbers that Adam came up with. You know, one of the things I say is $129 per thousand is retirement. Every thousand dollars they earn, they get $129 paid by the town into retirement. That's a significant amount of money that they're earning. It's money they're earning that the town's investing for them. So that's saying, I feel like it's saying a lot. So what per diem, and maybe where I'm coming from when I say go more per diem, you're saying to your employees, do you want to forego benefits in lieu for just money and you invest on yourself? You go invest in your own retirement, you find your own insurance, and we'll just pay you the money, which would be the less of a burden, on the town. So we could, that's where I'm kind of coming from, and what I'm thinking is to go to that angle. Just give them, the per diem would be paid more hourly, and then they can, if they want to invest on their own, they can. If they want to seek their own insurance, they could. If they don't want insurance, they don't have to. And it would certainly help us stay, right now we're at looks like about a 5% increase in the budget. 5.9%. I hate saying this out loud, that's tolerable. I mean, that's not unreasonable. But if we start adding 29,000 plus with the additional cost on top of that, we add that, because right now you've got half the per diem people in, so you add that other per diem, and we're gonna be pushing, I don't even know, I'm just gonna guess somewhere's up more close to 9-10% increase. And so, though I guess I said all that to say this, I understand where you're coming from. It's just a hard sell, it's just a hard sell on it, because it's just so daggone expensive and everything is.
Approximately how much does a full-time person make a year? Are we 60 grand, 65?
Take home, or like what their value with health
The
insurance and everything?
total, the gross.
82.5.
With benefits
Is
and
our
retirement
average.
and everything.
Correct,
Yeah,
82.5.
Okay.
And what are you saying that they'd have to be competitive? You're saying we've lost the edge there.
It's in your packet, it has, it's based on, EMS license. So, the average I think we use is 2357 for the budget. Obviously that average would go up, I think, what do we use, 2550, 25?
Are you talking about for the per diems? The per diems, we use an average rate of 2357, yep.
What do we use? Sorry.
We didn't use an average rate for the full-time.
Because we filled who we have, like right now with the 5 days, and then we assumed we would get higher license levels.
So assuming a paramedic, filled one of those open spots, that's a salary of $60,737, and when you add their other items, yep, you're up to 91.
But the average is 85.
She's not far off on the average. When you look at an advanced, it's very 85. That includes retirement and, well, that's not just payroll, that's the benefits too. It's cost of the town.
But I mean, basically, you're still filling, a large percentage with per diems. And we knew when this originally went in that the per diems, it wasn't like we were gonna save a ton of money. It was, we still had to have the people here, we paid them by the hour. But we thought by giving them the benefits, that you'd be easier to retain them.
Right.
Am I right on that? Just saying it isn't working.
It is, because we are retaining those 5 full-time employees have been here since the beginning. We lost the one employee for a bigger city, more money. They paid him overtime to go to advanced school. There's a lot.
Oh, I mean, we are gonna be the perfect place for everybody anyway.
Right, and I agree with that, but again, like I had told budget committee, we're only 7 months into our full-time program, we started August 11th, like to me, we're in our infancy stage, you know what I mean, we're not gonna get there overnight, I said, yeah, I think we'll get there in a year, but we're only partway through that, you know?
I guess the bottom line, what I'm getting to is, if you take 82.5 times 3, we're just under $250,000. That's real money, that's a lot of money. If, like what you were saying, is up to per diem a little bit, and you have a valid point as far as the current full-time people, right? So if we up them both a little bit, we're still saving a serious amount of money than hiring 3 more full-time, which you're gonna back out per diem at that point too. So if you bumped everyone up a little bit, cut those 3, we're still gonna save, I'm sure, well over $200,000. Is that accurate? You know, it would stay this current structure that it is right now?
The only thing I would throw out there is that if we're going in, if you cut the full timers, we still need the man hours to cover those shifts.
But that just puts us where we're at right now, right? With the 5 full-time and per diem covering.
Right, but we're backfilling with per diems. Am I understanding what you're saying, Ernie? I'm sorry.
So this budget sheet that's in front of us here is 8 full-time plus the chief. I'm assuming if you wanted to reduce that by 2 or 3 people, that number goes down. The per diem line is then gonna have to go up to replace those hours with the per diem. Yes, you're gonna reduce.
Correct, your per diem will go up a little bit, and that's why it's up a little bit last year over what we anticipated.
What you would lose is that retirement and healthcare costs.
Which is a big number.
Healthcare and, retirement.
I'm understanding.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I'm sorry.
200 is probably a little high, factoring that in, but I bet you're still, maybe I'm wrong, but I bet you're still $150,000 plus.
So, let's see. Did a little anticipating that question was coming. I did, moving it down to 6, taking away 2 for full timers. And then moving that money down into the per diem line. The per diem line would go up to 200. This is taking those hours.
Yeah.
And shifting them into so adding 2,184 hours into the per diem line at the average rate of $23.56 would bring that up to $235,324. So then removing the benefits for those 2 for retirement and health insurance. And it makes the budget difference, brings it down to a total of $1,288,086.
That puts us close to in line of what we were last year.
It's 11,000 over.
Correct.
Or 11,700 over.
Which really, when you,
So that I did not, however, in my estimate, I did not adjust the overtime line because, I think that we're still gonna need overtime. I think if we have less full-timers, the opportunity for full-time people getting ordered, I think it's, yes, we're having to cover less vacations, but I think we're gonna have more order-ins, if you will. So I left that alone. Sure.
Anything else on the salary lines? Or on page 1 at all? On page 2, I started to talk about the capital things that aren't capital things.
Equipment
So,
supply.
and I get, you need new hoses, you need new air packs, you need new air bottles, you need new turnout. Explain to me why we need laptops in trucks, other than the command vehicle. I understand that part. How many laptops are we talking about and how many trucks?
so we have 4 laptops in trucks right now, command vehicle, 2 ambulances.
I understand the ambulances.
Okay, primary engine. Myself and the engine get CAD updates, so computer aided dispatch, for those of you who aren't familiar, updates, which our dispatch center provides us minimal information over the air, and they put all that information in CAD and it comes in like real time as the dispatcher's typing. And that's truly vital to our response. They're also used for patient care reports. So if we go see, I go see the manager and he's having chest pain, I think he needs to go to the hospital, and he says, absolutely not, I'm not going. We can have him sign against medical advice on those computers, where before we would have forms and stuff like that. It all automatically goes into our reporting system. We often do sign-offs on the engine, so if the ambulance, like if we're at a car accident, we have 3 patients, the ambulance may be doing 2, the engine may be doing 1. And again, it's used for that computer dispatching. This past year, I got a grant for 4 new laptops. So the new ambulance will get one of those laptops that's sitting in my office when it arrives, the new mini pumper, my car, and our current ambulance, not our loaner, the one that we own, those got the other 2. This laptop will be the last one for our primary engine. The tower and engine 2 will remain without laptops. Why we had one in for every year is because we wanted to make sure we were truly replacement planning. I'm sure you guys all have laptops, and computers and technology changes very quick. So this would allow us to basically get a new one every 5 years for the trucks. These come in and out of the trucks. They're made to be rough housed, I guess. They're not like best laptop. They're more firefighter proof and police proof. They're more drop proof, rain proof, that kind of stuff. So they are more expensive than a traditional laptop.
They're not cop proof, and I can attest to that.
Nothing.
Anyways, they last up better. If you were to put this on the ambulance and it gets dropped once, it's done. Ours obviously hold up a little bit better.
Is that, Chief, is that the ESO receipt, is that this CAD, is that what this is?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
So your goal is to have 5 total,
yes.
and then figuring you're gonna get 5 years out of one, so you're replacing one every.
Right. So that's why that's on there. And like I said, we got a grant this year for 4 new ones. And the ones prior to were 7 to 8 years old.
Okay. Thermal image camera, I'm assuming you don't need one of those every year.
Nope, we only had 2 in the entire department. Standard is at least 1 on every truck. We have purchased 2 this year. Newer technology and standards say you should have a smaller one on every air pack for every interior person. I know that that's not financially responsible, but our current ones are pretty old, so this one would replace 1 bigger camera or 2 small ones.
So it's on there for now and might go away at some point. It's not something you need.
Yeah, it's not something we need to buy every year.
Okay. I'm gonna continue right down uniform line. So 20% increase, and I understand the cost of uniforms, but the math's not mathing here, so new employee setup's $400. You can put a new employee in a uniform for $400.
New employee who works in the fire service, yes, already using their own pants from another department and boots from another department, that's giving them a polo, a job shirt, so like the sweatshirts we wear, and a Class B button, yes. That's not, if it's like a brand new employee who's never worked here, who, you know, I need 2 pairs of pants, set of boots, no, that's not even close to the cost. And I did, in your book, you have how much each item costs.
Just some samples in here.
I was just basing my math on $400 for a new employee, but it's $6,000 and you don't have that many employees, so it's not $400 for a brand new employee.
Yeah, it's a brand new person to our department, just to get them the t-shirts, the polo, the job shirt.
You said we had individual, I looked at it, and I guess I just gotta ask the question, $93.95 for men's midnight navy short sleeve class A tactical PDU shirt size extra large with department patch and reverse white. Am I just out of touch reality and a short sleeve shirt with a patch on it?
That's
$93
pretty-
bucks?
I wish he was here, but my deputy, when he was here, was wearing that exact shirt. But yeah, unfortunately, uniforms are outrageous.
The pants match it.
How do we,
$90, $100.
what's the options there? Like, have you explored that? I mean, dang on, really nice zip up waterproof Carhartt sweatshirt isn't $93
Yeah,
embroidered.
We recently changed vendors in the last year and we saw a significant decrease. The uniforms are outrageous. I think police can attest to that, and anyway, uniforms are expensive. And we're not easy on them either.
Now, these are just polos, right?
That is like, I don't know, the button up I
The
don't
button-up
wear.
shirt.
It's like
this
what the
is-
chief's wearing,
Is
except
he
in
wearing
a
a
short
button-up?
sleeve. You don't have a pole.
He's wearing like a polo, yeah.
The short sleeve polo is $80.
Model it.
Yeah.
Model it.
The long sleeve polo is $84.
They're not cheap.
And that's through a vendor who most municipalities, like Auburn Fire, Poland Fire, and Gloss, like most people around here are going for, so we all use the same
They probably
shirt,
exist.
so they get a cheaper cost of the shirt, where if I were to go to a place in Southern Maine, they're significantly more.
No, they're not fire resistant.
There might be no Nexus on.
No, but both.
No, but they're cotton, that meets the standard for under your gear.
At least you're getting into some sort of perk out of that. I was blown away, I saw that, I'm like, man.
And the only problem I see with moving those former capital improvement stuff to the regular budget is if they don't spend $4,000 on hose, that goes away in your remaining balance.
I would agree, yes, but I would agree. I mean, if it's not spent, then it goes back to the unassigned fund balance.
But it does reflect it. I mean, I feel like if that's stuff that they're using, they're replacing annually, it better reflects the operating cost of that department. That would be my argument, that would be my reason for leaving it in this, is just to reflect actually what it's costing instead of, because now when we go to CIP, to me, it just feels like this is a real cost, this is what she needs to turn the engine and go over the door.
It's a true bucket. And I see the pros and cons, I understand what you're saying, so, and I'm assuming we budget $4,000 for hose replacement, and you don't need to spend that, you don't just buy a hose because you got money. Or you don't buy something just because you got money left, you buy it when you need it. And if it doesn't get purchased, and it does go in the undesignated fund balance, which we use to offset capital anyway, quite frequently, so.
To Mr. Hunter's point, I think he's saying that hose, while we may replace a section here or there, you have to look at it in replacing the full hose load that's on the truck. And for example, let's say one of those whole loads gets ruined, 4,000 may or may not cover that. I'm assuming is what he's saying, and that if it rolled over and I didn't need to touch hose this year, then I would still have it potentially next year when that hose does get ruined and I needed, let's say, $6,000, that would be there and I would be spending it appropriately because it's hose.
So
I'm assuming that's what.
we as a board, if we have $68,000 budgeted in equipment supply and we spend $50,000 and there's $18,000 left, we can move that $18,000 into the capital line at the end of the year. No?
Not exactly. We need to fall back to the unassigned fund balance, and then we follow the fund balance policy.
It does have that potential.
Yeah, depending on where the unassigned
The
fund balance.
downfall is if you didn't need a hose replacement, but you needed 8 air packs and it cost,
2 air, or bottles, for an example, we need to place 3 more bottles, whatever that works out to be. I don't, these are, I would expect that that's what we would do.
it's no different than gasoline or medical supplies. If you don't use it all, it's gonna go somewhere.
I just thought it was I'm sorry. I thought it was important to illustrate to the board, why it went up so much, what those items were that were gonna be in capital.
And I assume you guys talked this out, and 68,000 is a general cost of doing business. That's why you put that number in there, that's where you came up with it. Whether we use it, you know, again, it's not, you didn't put it in there, you didn't put it in there, just put it in there to come up with 68,000, you had real purpose behind it. You don't use it, but the cost of shirts goes up, you know, it's a living, a budget's a living thing, right? Like it's moving around and it's a moving target, so you wouldn't, you know, go over here, go onto there, you just, within her budget, she's staying within her budget, so the 68,000, I'm assuming isn't just a, you know, like, hey, maybe they'll give me 68 grand for this to see what happens, and if I don't use it, you know, it's a good number showing us what it costs to operate your department. And to buy, purchase, equipment supply, I assume.
Up until the first time that you use the fund balance policy and transfer funds back into one of those items. Because that's not reflected as what the actual budget would be.
I'm not sure I followed that one.
So if we use fund balance policy to buy hose, because I need more hose, or buy a new engine on a fire truck because we didn't budget for it, or something like that, it's not shown in the fire budget because we pulled it from fund balance. But
How do you, I mean, that's a good point.
I don't disagree with you, Scott, it's two different ways of looking at the budget, how to
And I agree,
present
but
it.
I mean, if you're looking at a way to truly reflect what the cost of operating fire department has, but most anywhere you go, those items would be in a capital improvement line.
I mean, technically, we should put the CIP number added into the budget and say that's what it costs, because you still have to replace trucks, you still have to do all the capital improvement, the maintenance on the building, and actually, all that is what it costs to have a fire department. I mean, that's the reality of it, right? Because if we don't have a fire department, we don't have any of those expenses. So, I mean, this is new to me. I don't do a lot of government budgeting. You know, break it into two different things is fine, but yeah, you're moving it from one spot, CIP, you know, to just fire rescue by going by these tabs, right? Fire rescue tab or fire rescue CIP, we just moved it over. But at the end of the day, and I was trying to find it, I just don't see it real quick what the total CIP budget is, but technically we could just add that to the fire rescue budget and say that's truly the budget. Because we have to save and buy equipment in the future.
Anything else? Going
The
down the
last question I had was just on the physical and drug testing immunizations. What's the jump on that?
So that was my oversight last year, the full timers to get a full like OSHA BLS physical, it's about $1,300. I think the breakdown, is in your, folder, but, that's just to get them like hearing, EKG, all their baseline items that they need to officially use full time.
Is that done annually?
And they're, based on, some of them have different age requirements, so they don't necessarily need every single thing each year, like, if you're in the 30s, 40s, that like, it just depends on where you fall.
I suspect I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask it.
Okay.
I'm assuming by this, budget of 21,000 for the 6% of our medical billing to 21,000.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing we're somewhere around 350,000. If I reverse that, actually it's on, I think I found it, yeah, on page 15 of the audit. 320,370 is what we billed out for rescue. Is there any chance, is that like medical billing? So in other words, is that like some sort of special, can't do that? You couldn't offer a 3% stipend to somebody to do that in-house would be is what I was.
Medical billing is very complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very complex and I don't wanna sound disrespectful,
No.
but I would push back hard on that.
Okay.
It's not, I think we would spend more on staffing than we would on.
Sure.
I hope, Scott, would you agree with me on that?
I don't know any municipality.
Yeah, there's been a few who've taken it over for a couple years, and then as soon as they've taken it over, they've given it right back.
28.6% vehicle maintenance. Was there something big that happened?
So what would, it's not anything specific, in in specific, but we have a couple of vehicles, like the tower truck, the engine, those things are getting older, and everything that we go to fix, please correct me if I misspeak, but like the tower truck is getting old enough that when something breaks on it, sometimes has to actually be manufactured in order to fix it. So it's just the cost to fix these older vehicles, it just keeps increasing.
And I did give you a breakdown of what vehicle, has cost what this year in your book. The tower truck has been, just for that truck, has been around, I think it was 13,000, and engine 6, is a 2017, and that was about 18,000.
What was the 2017, which vehicle was that?
Engine 6 is a 2017, it's
the last,
It's the new fire truck,
Yeah.
it's almost 10 years old.
Because I was kind of curious, we didn't have that on that, what the age of the vehicles were, like car one,
yeah.
and what the projected, like when would we replace those?
So, I think we are gonna get there in CIP.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, my car 1's 2022.
Yeah.
Engine 2 is a 93. The utility, which will be replaced by the mini pumper, is a 2001. Engine 6 is a 17, and the tower is a 94. Our ambulance is a 2016. Obviously, the new one that we're about to receive is a 2025.
Just to note, the vehicle maintenance is already a little over budget for this year, so I think that does need to go up.
And we still haven't even taken our winter tires off and got the next oil changes in the ambulance that can be done for the budget, so.
So that 45 is for every vehicle, fire truck, ambulance.
Yes, sir.
That's not bad.
Tell me about Emergency Service Marketing Corp. $660, there's no detail on it.
What's the
Sorry,
number
I'm
on
not
the top
sure.
of that?
40-01-20-02.
So software,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to see which one.
4001-2002?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that, I don't have that in front of me exactly, but it's like I am responding, which is their software that they use for, not your dispatch, but is the I am responding your dispatch software?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see numerical, I don't know what one you're talking about.
It says I am responding.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what the
so
bill-
I'm
It does?
responding,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm responding is, what is used for dispatching, so like when dispatches a call, it also gives us a text. It's used for expiration, so like people's EMS licenses, anything with an expiration, it sends out reminders. It's used for paging out, so like when I wanted to remind people to be here for Lois's recognition, I can just quickly page out like, hey, town office, 1700, see you there. It's used for all sorts of things.
Kind of replace the paging system. Whatever. Any other discussion on the fire rescue budget? Anybody want to make a motion? Do we want to move on to CIP first? What's your pleasure?
I make a motion, just table this and come back.
Second.
Motion and a second to table for future discussion and action. No discussion. All those in favor? So, fire rescue CIP.
Alright, fire rescue CIP. So this year the ask is $100,000. That $100,000 is part of what we've been discussing in other ones with saving for the future, but at the same time, the CIP request for this year is $100,000, and that's for the cascade system replacement, which will be used to fill their air bottles. I believe she just received the updated quote on that, and it actually was 101, so we're a little bit off, one for each year there. Excuse me. This CIP, if you look forward to the future, however, one of the focuses I've had is I wanna make sure based on the feedback I've been getting from the board, is that we save money and we buy things with cash rather than go out and get loans. One of the vehicles that needs to be replaced in the near future is the 1993 engine, which is engine 2. That's estimated to be an $850,000 purchase. And that, because it's happening so soon, potentially happening so soon, I would recommend that we would consider at least purchasing that. But everything else that you see on the CIP plan for vehicle replacement is all saving money and purchasing with cash. So this year, the ask is $100,000 to be raised and appropriated. And the only thing slated is the purchase of the Cascade system.
Can you explain what the Cascade system does?
Yeah, it fills our air walls, so all our air packs, that's what we use to fill it.
What do we do to it currently? How do we fill them currently?
With our system that we, received used many years ago.
So we have a system that does it here.
Yes, yeah, this isn't, it's not asking for something, it's replacing what we currently have.
Yeah, I didn't know if we send them out somewhere.
Cause we top off bottles every single day, so like when we go in, you check your truck, turn on the bottle, part of your air pack check, every time you check it, you are, losing a little bit of air, so after several air pack checks, you need to top off your bottle, so it's really not possible to send them out. Every municipality has their own gas.
How old's the one,
Nearly
that-
every-
how old's the one that you've got now?
That's a great question.
We think in 2008.
I look at that right now.
Well, that originally came out of Auburn. We bought it used up then, and I'm gonna say probably 2008 is pretty close to that. We bought it off then.
That's when we got it from that.
Yes.
Used.
It's an antique.
How long does one of these things usually last?
I think it depends on the agency, but we have had it serviced multiple times this year and have had to borrow our neighbors, and thank goodness that they've been kind to let us use it. But they've told us several times, we are looking at other places to get these parts that we're using to Band-Aid yours, so I think we've Band-Aided it
Well, if it
basically
was
to the
used
end of the
in
place.
2008, it's probably not.
Yeah,
Is this for a new one? Okay.
yes,
Yes.
it is. I think we happened to land on, used one last time, probably through connections, but most people have, they upgrade theirs regularly. And have it in some time.
Is there any value in that? So we bought one from Auburn. So if we were to do this more frequently, would there be more value in our used one?
Like a trade-in?
Yeah.
Thing?
I honestly don't know what the used Cascade market is. I could speak to more like used cardiac monitors or ambulances or engines, but I've never heard of acquiring.
How many companies will bid on this when it goes up to the bid process?
Probably like the usual vendors, fire tech, IPS, there's not a
Because
ton
the
of
dollar
people.
value says it needs to go to bid.
Yeah, there's not a ton of people who have this product, it's like 2 or 3 vendors, I would say.
Discussion. Pretty straightforward, so that.
Yeah, Adam, what was budgeted last year for CIP?
50,000.
But of that, what do we use for fire hoses and scuba?
Well, actually, yeah, that's a good correction, I'm sorry, yeah. I don't have my CIP.
In addition to that,
We did $50,000 for vehicles, and then those items that are now in the operating budget, those were in the CIP.
Remember that.
If you, yes.
Yeah. You just moved it
Yes,
from one tab to the other.
just to be clear, yes.
So I'm not sure how we're gonna vote on this, the whole thing altogether with reserve or just Cascade and then the reserve separately or not, but can I just ask, we have 850 projected to replace engine 2 next year, right? That's brand new, I presume.
That would be like a brand new off the line truck, so, it's not something that we would spec out specific to us, it's something that's already in production. Because otherwise a brand new one spec to us would be like 1 to 1.2 million.
Okay. Is it a consideration to see if we can find a used engine? Alternatively, like maybe 400 grand or?
We've talked about it, I just think, to think about that future planning. Right now, we have 2017, 94, and 93. So if we upgrade to that 400 grand is gonna get you another 2017. We're never really gonna be able to stagger our trucks and truly get into a good replacement plan. I don't think, so yes, you could opt to get a used truck, but you're never gonna alternate truly, you're gonna, I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying, and look, I'm definitely worthy of a conversation. I know I was also elected to watch our tax dollars, right? So if we can upgrade something 15 years newer, and we can pay for it outright and not increase our debt service, I think that option should be on the table for the people to do. That's all. That's the only point of my question, is that I just hope when we get there, we have options.
And I think there's pros and cons to the new versus used.
Sure.
I mean, if you buy a used one, sure, you might get something decent, but you might only get 10 years out of it instead of 20.
I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just.
I agree. I just think I'd like to see options, but that's all.
Yeah, and I think when we get to next year, this is one of those items that we're probably gonna wanna, I hate to use the phrase, but maybe workshop this one a little bit before we actually get into the budget cycle.
Perfect.
For sure.
We're not approving the whole plan just this year.
No, we tabled the regular budget, now we're capital, whether we wanna do a motion or a motion to do something with it.
I'll make a motion to approve next year's capital. Not the whole plan.
What do you mean next year?
What?
$100,000.
Not the whole plan is, because.
Because when you say next year, I see $850,000.
Yeah.
You want us to place that order, sir?
Motion for the $100,000 capital
Second.
discussion.
So you're not including raising the 100 for reserve?
This year, I'm just including, asking for $100,000, and that's it. I'm trying to ease us into it so that we don't.
But the majority of that $100,000 is gonna go to that cascade.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was looking down below, I'm sorry. Yes, 100 for cascade.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. Just a point of clarity, if I may, table the fire department budget. Are you looking to have this back on the agenda next week? Is that what we're talking about?
We were slated to finish next week, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and that's fine with me. The only thing I was looking for is could you break out the payroll lines?
Just print it out.
Just, what position, each position costs us, and I will do the average of it at the advanced level.
For the 2 open spots?
Not for all the positions.
Oh, okay, I understand what you're saying, Scott.
So the chief's salary and the
Deputy chief, lieutenant. I see the sheet with all the stipends and who does this and who does what.
No, I understand what you're asking for, yeah.
Next.
Oh, yeah, because it is your
Yeah.
So this is gonna be the public safety building budget, and just give me 1 second, please. Left her high and dry. Is there something wrong? So the public safety building, right up the top is electricity, 27,659. Heating oil, that is an increase from last year. Heating oil, 20,232. It is an increase from last year, but it is based on our bid price and gallons projection. Telephone, 2135. Internet, $1,800 even. Water, $740. Propane is pretty minimal use, $750. That is a little bit of increase. That's used for the generator and the cook stove. Office supplies, $4,500. Slight increase from last year. Insurance, as I said, that's broken apart from the municipal tab, $76.41. And then professional services. This is a new line. It was part of building maintenance before, but we're trying to make everything uniform across the board. So this is like modern pest, fire alarm testing, sprinkler testing, fire extinguisher testing, and generator service. So $3,756. So like I said, that came from building maintenance, but we left building maintenance at $25,000. Again, we've had different items come up, heating system, cooling system, just other general maintenance for the building that's been coming up. It's been costly, so it gives us a total public safety building budget of $94,213.
Okay, a motion,
Thank you.
discussion.
Adam, is how move the electric here, is that this receipt of everything on this, like page 4 or 5 something, location addendum, is that everything on there? It's I get 45-01, 10-01, top right hand corner. Says Pismo Field Rec Center, Pigeon Hill Pump.
Oh, no.
What,
No, so that's a list of everything, and we just thought it'd be useful so that we just put it in all of them, so you can see which one it goes to. The public safety building is, I wish it was all of them.
yeah.
Especially the sewer part. No offense, Steve.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Vote. Public safety CIP,
All right, CIP for the public safety building. Okay. So the total ask for public safety building for this town meeting is $75,000. That includes this year for purchases of $25,000 for HVAC. So there's 4 HVAC units there. We've been replacing one every year, and we're looking to replace the 3rd one this year, $25,000. Last year, we also replaced some of the mechanics for the garage doors. We're looking to do that again this year. That's $20,000. And then window replacement, $8,000 for replacement windows. And so for the doors, we're trying to do 6 per year, so we can get this done over 3 years. And then for the windows, we're just trying to replace 4, starting at the worst, working our way through, doing 4 a year. So that's a total of $53,000 of anticipated capital purchases this year, and then saving to the future for some other items, as you can see listed out. The ask is $75,000 total.
What was last year's, Adam?
This plus 20. 50, it was the 53 plus an additional 20 for the security systems that we have.
I'll bring up last year's budget, I apologize. I will,
75 plus 20.
The 53 plus 20, I believe, because we put 20 aside for those security upgrades.
So some of the items for last year were taken care of by the board with fund balance. So we raised and appropriated $50,000 for the vehicle reserve for fire, and then that was the only raise and appropriated town meeting. The other items were all done through the fund balance.
Where's 73,000?
So nothing, we're
Yeah, $73,000 total was all of the items last year.
including public safety building, is that?
No, that's public safety building only. Sorry.
Well, last year was 73.
Lifeline has a. Motion?
Make a motion to raise the 75,000.
Motion a second, any further discussion? All those in favor? Vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
You've got my card, can't go ahead.
Hey chief, if you need to leave to get to that, you can take the town car. No? Okay.
My flight's landed, my job's done.
Okay. All
I
right,
got it.
where are we going next? Transfer station? The moment that Ed has been waiting for. Okay. All right, so for the transfer station, you guys good for me to start?
Yep.
Okay, transfer station, regular payroll, 179,868. Overtime, 2,000. Part-time, 6,200. Social Security, 11,660. Medicare, 2,727. Paid family medical leave, $940. Health insurance, 66,380. Retirement, 16,188. Workers' compensation, 7,396. Electricity, $5,000. Telephone, $682. Internet, $4,260. That is a pretty good increase over last year. Just to give a quick explanation on that, we had to add the internet down at the cycle building because there wasn't internet down there to allow for the voice over IP phones to work down there. Also, the internet allows them to do their high-speed internet allows them to do their sales all. I'm saying this wrong, but all not online, but through Trio and so forth.
Through our financial software, they can do their own sales, or credit card swipes and.
Thank you for saving me on that because I got tongue-tied.
Point of sale.
Point of sale.
It is very similar.
Alright.
Or it is.
So, alright. And then propane, that's pretty minimal, $300. That's just used for a heater that they use when it's extreme cold. We do own the tank. Office supplies, $817. Equipment supply, that's baling wire. We don't need it this year. Ed's usually buys that every other year. So this is the year of the other. Clothing, $1,200. Gasoline, $200. Again, that's just for lawnmowers down there, so it's pretty minimal. Diesel, $3,200, $3,203. So it's just a $1 decrease in last year, but that's based on usage and what we're at for a bid price. Microsoft Office software, $120. Printing, that's for their charge slips and window placards, $1,500. Equipment rental, which is their photocopier, $720. And now we're getting into other waste, which is $4,230. That is an increase from last year. The biggest reason for that increase is the oversized log disposal, which is about $2,500. Also, the hazardous waste day cleanup is slightly increased too. Tire disposal, $14,800. Slight increase from last year. Now, keep in mind, some of these are offset by revenues as well in the that they go to the general fund, but we are receiving some revenues. Refrigeration disposal, 5,942. It's based on the number of estimated units and the cost per unit. Now, trash, the 100-yard tipping. So I broke it up this year. We used to have the tipping and hauling all in the same one. It would, I mean, if anything, it confused me, so I'm assuming it confused others, so we broke it into two separate lines. So 117,534, and that is the tipping fees to dispose of the trash that goes into the hopper. It's $90.76 a ton based on 1,295 tons of trash. That is a 3% increase from last year. They're estimating for the costs. Trash hauling, so this is the hauling fee with our contract with Almighty Waste for $279 per haul. Expecting to do 2 hauls per week, $29,016, so this is a little bit less. Electronic waste at $1,000. Demo, the 50-yard tipping, so this is to get rid of the demo in the 50-yard can, $93,500, that's a $15,000 increase from last year. It's based on the cost per tons, and you see the breakdown there also with the mattresses and all of those other items. Then the demo hauling through 207 Waste for $235 a ton at 90 hauls per year, $21,150. And then we have the insurance was the property casualty liability for $6,523. Membership dues, $287. Training and conferences, $1,500. Licenses and fees, $700. Equipment maintenance, $25,000. Remains the same. And then building and ground maintenance at $20,000, which is a $7,400 increase. And that includes, we moved there was a special line for landfill regrind. We just combined that with the building and maintenance line. So that's part of it as well. But Ed's got a couple of items that need to be addressed in some floors and wall repairs, general maintenance items, and that's why we increased that line. Total transfer station budget of $652,544.
Anything else Ed want to say?
No, good. Revenues are coming in good. Send out a lot of products. It's just the big increases, the mattress cost, which we didn't figure on that last time, you know, it's $30 a piece to give her a mattress for log spring. It's coming back in, because we're charging the people the exact same thing on the demo, so. It's gonna show that you have to appropriate and then we get it back. Except the ones that are on side of the road. We haven't had any, so that's been good.
Looks like there's like a $10,000 difference between our revenue and what I came up for, quick expense on what we should be charged for, tires, demo, and whatnot. I'm just curious what that is. It's actually 121.5 is what I found for revenue. 133,680 is what I'm coming up with for expense for our demo, for our tires. The tire, demo, looks like refrigerator, other waste of 4230. I'm assuming all that stuff that we charge for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some of it, you think you've got 4 more months, so you're gonna get more revenue out of that to come into that. I mean, right now, with the demo and the mattresses, we've only spent 66 and we're taking it 77, so we're way ahead on that one.
Where is that?
I got this in my revenues at the bottom. I don't know if you got that paper or not.
Thank you. Wait.
You've got a revenue tab in the back, and we did try and break down the revenues for the transfer station year to date, kind
Oh, okay, yeah, I see at the bottom, okay, my
of
bad.
separated it up. Now keep in mind what it says, budget revenue, those are the estimates. But you're,
I just totaled it out, we had 103 so far. So we got
Revenue.
revenue come in. So we just sent another load, what, 2 Tuesday too, so we'll have another big check coming in. We got another $3,000 come from tin cans.
What approximately is your revenue up this year compared to last year? Is it up?
Yeah,
Sorry, I
it's up.
assume.
It's up, and a lot more people moving into town, believe it or not.
Yeah.
A lot of people are very upset we charge. Like I explained to them, I said, you put a deck on your house, why should every town's person need to pay for your deck? You need to pay for that deck.
Payroll line, regular payroll, this shows 9.5% increase. Same with 3 employees that are there, that were there last year, correct?
To answer your question, sir, it's because we didn't account for holiday pay last year.
Thank you very much.
Not to put words in your mouth.
Well, just, you see a 9.5% increase in salary, why?
I guess the only question I have that I'm maybe explain a little bit more, and I apologize, is the internet.
That was my next question.
I guess I'm still, you had mentioned about the credit card stuff, but you had that last year, right?
That's in the transfer station, yes.
Correct, so
We need to-
just explain to me this again, I'm confused.
So we, in order to get the phone down at the recycle building, we had to have the internet. IT and the phone company are telling us that we need to have this special switch down there as well, which is about $90 a month on top of the internet cost in order to run these two things. So that's why you're seeing that significant increase. So Elizabeth and I have been talking to the IT and the phone company about getting rid of that switch to try and reduce that, but we don't have a firm answer on that yet, on whether or not we can live without it and still have the phone work correctly. So I wanted to budget it so that we're covered, but if we can get rid of it, we're gonna get rid of it.
So why do we need a phone up there? A house phone, I assume, correct? That's what we're talking?
Landline?
Landline or whatever for that building?
It's voice over IP like the rest of the town is.
Okay, I apologize.
So it's
I
an
would have a flip
internet-based,
phone if I could, so.
yeah, it's an internet-based phone. The entire town is on that system. So
And what does that allow you to do that a regular phone doesn't?
So what it allows us, it does allow us to transfer calls from place to place. Also, I mean, we do need to have a phone down, I believe, in that building for safety purposes for the employee and so forth, so. But what the difference between the voice over IP versus a regular landline, is that what you're asking?
I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm asking.
Right.
Or
Yeah, I don't, it just seems,
I understand,
look, I'm not trying to, whatever, right? We all have cell phones, and if I would have to assume that if we bought a cheap phone for $40 a month, it would be a hell of a lot cheaper than doing this. But maybe that's just me, and this is what I'm trying to understand.
Do we have any point of sale stuff at the recycle building? So, I mean,
It's just a large number.
To jump on his, and so the voice over phone is a system townwide, the county has one, so you can dial 123 and get Adam, you can dial 124, get the clerk, you can dial 351 and get another department, right?
Sure.
So, and I understand the need for it at the main transfer station.
Correct.
The internet cost is just, I mean, that comes up to $355 a month. And you're paying $150 a month at the public safety building, you're paying $150 a month at the sewer building. The town office pays $120 a month for that. Then there's an additional benefit to that, $184 for public Wi-Fi. Why is the transfer station's internet so much higher than all the other buildings?
they are considering it as two locations because they're two separate buildings. So it's like you have to double the bill because it's two separate buildings.
That's more than that, huh? Substantially more. Some little box that they sent us, it's like $90 a month. So I guess my question, and I think Bernie was going that way, is can we do away with the voice over phone at the recycling building and just have a cell phone there for him to use at a much cheaper rate?
Or do a
So you do away with the double internet charge. You're doing away with part of the phone charge. And you're talking, making that $4,800 turning in half, I'm assuming.
Do you think a cell phone will work down there?
Carry it that way.
I mean, give the,
That's
most
what I'm saying,
employees
give
have a
Garrett
cell
50
phone.
bucks a month or something.
Yeah, give them a stipend for carrying a cell phone.
I think that you to discuss with the employee that works there for the most time. Now, if he's not always there, somebody may be filling in. Again, I see the need to have a phone there, but
Well, I assume we're talking about having a cell phone that we would just leave at the,
whether the
Leave
town
it.
has a cell phone, you put it there and it's there for if they need it, or whether you give the employee a stipend for his cell phone.
If we leave it up to the town manager, they have to figure that out either way,
That'd be okay.
right? I mean,
I think that's a way to save $2,000 easy on that one budget.
okay. I won't argue with you on that. So you're looking to reduce that line by down to 2260, is that what I'm hearing?
Well, and I'm assuming it's gonna reduce the telephone line and the internet line and then put part of that somewhere. You leave it in the telephone line towards the cell phone.
Yeah, it would reduce the internet by, I believe,
You know, I hope it will go down to no more than.
I mean, it was $1,500 before, and the only thing difference you did is transfer up there, but I think that saves some money.
We have the same, is it the same internet provider for all the town buildings? Is it all Spectrum?
Yeah, Spectrum now.
It's just so, again, it seems like 150 for a couple of them. I guess that's the going rate, so that's what I would expect it to be there too, if that's all you have.
Yeah, we can do that.
So 1,800.
Yep, that's what I'm coming up with, 1800. Alright.
I'd make a motion to reduce that line to 1,800.
second,
That's the internet line.
The internet line from 4260 to 1,800. I'm assuming that's part of that 4260.
Sorry, Dave, what was that?
The $90 box that Gus was talking about was part of that 4260.
Yes.
Any other adjustments on the transfer station budget before we do the math? Put item on the spot to correct the final number.
I've got the math for you. Well, Excel does.
All right, what are we at now for?
That would make it $650,084.
Any other discussion on the transfer budget, transfer station budget? If not, do I have a motion?
I think Scott's budgeting right now.
You just dropped it $2,200 there.
Drop to 2460. Great.
I'll do the math the second time, 652.
Hey, do you guys need do you have uniforms or do you get a clothing allowance?
460.
We're gonna try to pants, we buy them.
We dropped it 2460.
Yeah, okay, sorry, that was mine, because
650084. Do I have a motion?
The motion goes in the number,
650084.
yeah.
Second.
did you already start a motion for the internet first? We
I
closed
thought
that
I
out.
already did that, did we not?
We didn't vote, we made a motion in second, but we didn't
My
close it
apologies.
out.
Thank you for catching that. So we have a motion and a second on reducing the internet line to 1,800. All those in favor? Phil?
Sorry. On the next question.
So we have a motion and a second on the budget number. Further discussion.
What's, if you've already explained this, Adam, I apologize. The 20,000 from 12,520 on the, under the buildings and grounds, what was that for? You already go over that?
Yeah, so there's just some general repairs and maintenance that needs to be done. I mean, there's some work that needs to be done to the pavement up front. There's some wall issues not issues, but just things that need to be repaired for the walls, I'm sure you can give us some other examples, but.
The regarding in that, so that's.
Yeah, and the reruns.
Yeah, the regarding into that, so they have a separate place for it. DEP says we have to put the regrind up on the landfill. Anytime the hole sinks a hole or whatever, that's what they. But the big thing of this year is that wall going into the office, it's all rotted, the whole bottom, the wall just goes right back and forth. I think I showed you guys that, we got that going out to be fixed.
Is it a regrind something you buy every year from the landfill?
So I put mine way over there.
Does that answer your question, Phil?
Yes.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of 650-084? Vote. Transfer station capital.
Alright, in there. Bear with me 1 second. please.
Other than India, there's nothing added there, so.
So, yeah, I do wanna throw one thing about the capital out there. So the total ask for this year is 55,000, that's saving towards future purchases. This is one place that Ed and I, we are on two separate pages with, and that is, he would like to replace the compactor trailer, the 2008, the $116,000 that's allocated for next year. He feels that should be replaced this year. We did just get that inspected, so where he and I differ is, he feels it's more urgent to replace. I feel like it should wait till next year, and we should get another year out of it. Save the $55,000 this year towards the future purchase, but it'd probably be worth hearing Ed's thoughts on that though.
When you say just inspected, when was it inspected?
I was inspected in January at the bigger shop. My problem is, it takes a year to build one, so if you order it this year, you ain't gonna get it for another year. So we're gonna be looking two years down the road, it ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, now, if you had somebody weld it size up, you've got it, well,
It's all been done.
so everything is welded up
Yeah,
in
we
there?
got 31 patches on that side of the.
Well, yeah,
And we can touch the inside.
I wouldn't argue that with
And
you.
the floor's been replaced already once by Sandy Sessions. The guy tells me when he goes down to dump it in Albany, when he goes to push out the ram, the side of the trailer does this all the way out through.
Well, I bet your other one does too.
He didn't say nothing about the other one.
Well, I'm sure he's not going, I'm sure the older one doesn't more than that, but how many trips a year do you use that at?
Right now, it would be 26 times a year.
26
Because
times a
we got two
year,
trailers.
and it's
If
gonna
one
go-
breaks down,
it's gonna go 30 miles round trip?
Yeah.
It won't make it.
2 years.
What's the ask on that?
Excuse me?
What are we asking for the budget for that?
$116,000.
Oh, just move that over.
That's where it was, and then
Yeah, I moved it to next year.
You're basically asking for half this year,
Yes.
half next.
And how much did we, in maintenance did we put into that trailer this year overall?
it was $3,300 at the big rig shop, and some of it needs tires now, and we just put another $1,500 in the welding on it. So we got close to, I'm gonna say we're gonna have $5,000 in it before we're done.
What are we looking at? How many tires does this thing have?
Yeah, it's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, right?
I don't think they all need them.
What's up?
A new one's gonna need tires at some point. I mean, I feel like, what if, could you put a deposit on one? So could we, if we appropriate 55,000, could we order one with 55,000? So anticipating.
You're gonna have to go to bid, so you're gonna have a process, even if we do, say us, so if we put forth the 55,000, and the townspeople vote to approve the 55,000, I think at some point we can go to bid,
We can start
and
the
see what
process.
it's gonna be, and then determine from there. It's not, yes, if we wait till next year to appropriate the other half,
then order it, then put it to bid, then order it, yeah, you're looking at 2+ years.
Well, no, but if you, you know, if you, time you put it all out, find out what it's gonna cost you, everything, you put it out to bid, like I said, it's still gonna be into another year before you get it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, I got.
I'm not getting the feeling that anybody wants to budget $120,000
No,
this year for it,
no.
so I'll entertain a
I
motion.
mean, I can understand, you know, putting it out to bid, you know, at some point, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be done today or anything, but.
No, but if you put it out at some point, say you put it out in June and then it bids back in July, August, and then it's this amount and we say go ahead and order it and we'll figure out how to pay the other half. You saying it's gonna be a year before it comes in.
Unless, I don't know, is it in your packet, the picture of the one of the?
Yeah, that would.
That guy had that one in, down there, but it wasn't.
It wasn't what? You said.
It wasn't ready, it wasn't ready, but it's saying that you can buy that one for that price.
Dave, bounce back out here.
Entertain a motion on 55,000 or
I made a motion for 55. Second.
further discussion? All those in favor? So vote. Next.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. Thanks, Ed.
Sewer?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, she tries to put that out there. Okay. You guys wanna keep chugging? You wanna take 2 seconds or are we good or?
I'll take 2 seconds.
Why not?
You're at 10 seconds here, right?
I'm trying. I'll hurry, I promise.
I know where the balance is.
He needed to go. I want to make the rest of us look like a. I bet all the folks tuning in think I'm grumpy tonight.
They think you're grumpy? No.
You're not grumpy. You've never been grumpy.
I'm always like this. We had a lot to do and it wasn't really up for a lot of banter early on. Still have a lot to do, so.
I figured you were gonna have a couple of those guys. I wasn't sure to see them for
I feel
I
like
don't know whether he's in business today or not.
I'm not the only one who's coming forward, so I do think we need to come up with something.
yeah, I mean, he's not the only one that complained. I'm not complaining, I don't do this stuff.
He's not.
No, he's not. I agree with you.
I know. Who's pizza?
Yeah, really probably should. Mine's in Burcott in Augusta. But I could have voted for it, but I didn't think of that. It was in East Mountain, but ain't the first time I screwed something.
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm just.
Oh, just naturally happy? Yeah, I guess. Good story. Stick with it.
You're not arguing with me. Still listening, Lois? I just asked if they were still listening. Past your bedtime?
Past my bedtime.
Order of day.
I don't have another bus drive home. No, it's Thursday.
We can stay up
The sewer system budget, you have in front of
Yes, you want me to hit cracking?
you. Not really, I can read.
Do you want me to not go through the whole thing or? I can go right to the best part, which is the total is $506,838, $20,000 increase. One piece I would definitely call your attention to is that you're gonna see the part-time line is increased to $15,505. That's a $10,000 increase over last year, but that was taken from professional services. Because what we're running into is that he has a small crew, it's him and Jeff, and we have one person who has been coming in as a part-timer to help with the lab work on the weekends. But he runs into issues where he needs to be able to, he needs an extra set of hands on projects and stuff. So we've taken some from professional services, put it into part-time so that he can do that. And right now, that happens to be a part-timer that works for Public Works, is also looking to help over there at the sewer department. So that's what we're looking to, that's the big change.
What do you have now?
You looked up, so.
And I mean, when I go back to revenue, on the revenue, the north end sewer is $676.95.
North End Sewer, yep.
That's revenue from just,
Are you,
I mean, because last year it was 322, so that's why I'm just.
oh, you're talking about radio.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong line, sorry, so it's 64. Okay, my bad, I was looking at revenue sharing state protection.
Yeah,
My
no.
lines mixed up.
Yeah. That's all right, yeah, so generally like with the North End Sewer, because that's all part of Norway, we get the bill, you know, we bill it out, we
Yep.
pay it, we try and keep it to be a wash.
I just wanted to see the revenue, that's all.
Yeah.
185 on the revenue.
Yeah, sorry.
No, my bad, I was reading the wrong line. Yeah, I mean, this is, everybody knows, this is like a little bit of a, I have a great appreciation for what you do for visiting there and man of many hats, which is pretty cool.
It's like everyone around does the same.
Yeah, unfortunately. And so it's kind of a burden for me to try and figure out how to offset this, right? Because what we need is subscribers, correct?
Sorry?
We need subscribers to offset this cost.
Users.
Yes, you need users.
Yeah, so, you know, I wish I had a lot of really good suggestions to cutting the, reducing the budget. I just don't, except for, in this particular case, I just feel we need to generate more revenue. And I make a motion to approve it as it's here. I mean, I don't bring it up for discussion, but I make a motion to approve $506,838.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor? Vote. Thank you, thank you, Vinnie. See you.
We've been there, like I said, we've been down there.
All right.
It might have been a long way, but he had to use it.
It was quite a facility, I mean, I get it, we need more.
Ask for CIP's total $70,000.
Yes, sir. So includes a couple of things. Security camera system is the ask for this year. That's $13,800, and then so looking for saving for the future for those capital purchases. But in the past, we've done $45,000 even as our savings. But over this last year, we've had a couple of big whacks for like membranes, some other things, and everything for the sewer department is rather expensive. So I think we need to be setting more money aside every year to help us offset those big costs. So that's why it's $70,000 total. So $60,000 for emergency repairs and so forth, and then $10,000 for those purchases.
Do we really need a security system now?
Well, we had the
I mean,
issue.
if I was gonna break into someplace, that ain't probably where I go.
That's fine.
He's got a sweet welder though, down there, I'll tell you
Well,
that.
there was a few times when we found our hatches in the influent deck open in the morning. So someone was dumping. I talked with police chief. We set up cameras, but we didn't caught anyone. It can be like something which is really will kill the plant, like, and we will end up like polluting the river pretty much. That's one thing. And second, and we will have no one to blame except ourselves. Because we don't know.
What are they dumping?
I don't know what they done, but like we figure out, we saw that edges was open and left open
Inside the building,
outside.
outside.
And you guys weren't in it?
No, that was done at night. Like we found it at 8 o'clock in the morning.
And I would just question 13 grand for the security
So
system.
that's one thing, and other thing, even we did a lot of like programming to prevent situation, but we had hammers, like water hammers. We had pipe breakage.
Yep.
And like one of the cameras, I'm asking for the basement so I can see what's going on there. We had 6 breakages and that was like 200 gallons a minute, like filling up the basement.
It wouldn't take long to fill it.
Wow.
I mean, there's no electronics.
Oh, yeah.
No, we've already replaced them once, I remember, yeah.
I'm just looking at the scope of the work.
Okay, you've answered my question.
So.
Plus we have equipment outside.
We would do this on a quote or bid. I forget the dollar amount.
5,000, so I mean, this should go out to bid, or the board could waive the bid process, but in general, we put it out.
Yeah, and
So you haven't had anybody look at it?
I did Cunningham, that's a quote from Cunningham.
We had a quote from them.
They do a lot of business in the area.
I think they're,
Cunningham.
looking at the quote, I think they're selling more than we need. So panoramic cameras, unless you're gonna sit there and watch, and monitor.
It's, well, that's what he suggested for.
I know.
But I mean, before you buy it, if you wanna look at their little program, come by my place someday. Cause it ain't a guarantee that you're gonna see them, even though you'll see something. You know, I mean, that's the only,
Talking Roswell.
I mean, if we had trouble with it before, I mean, this one-time deal, somebody opened up a manhole out there, is that what you're saying?
It's well, it was 3 times last year.
3 times they opened?
What are they doing? And there is no way to lock it, like really. I mean, there is a little lock, but like you just twist the thing.
So just my take on $14,000, so you're talking about NDR, you're talking about, this is 4 cameras, whatever work you can do. You know, 3 or 4 very good Ring cameras and a $20 a month subscription does the same thing. I don't, because I have some, so. I don't know about anybody else on cameras, but.
No, I've had a little experience with them, and I've got some with Cunningham. I mean, I'm not saying that their stuff is bad, to thinking that that's gonna get, I mean, what would we have to do to make it so they couldn't unlock it?
Are those lockable for padlock?
Well, we locked it, but like it's very easy to open. We don't need really to do much.
No, but is there a way we could fix it so you couldn't open it?
Like put a hasp or something on it?
Well, I mean,
I don't know, like it's will involve welding, most probably.
I mean, I was just wondering what something like that would cost to have a regular, I mean, there must be some way to make that so they can't get into it.
Well, I can think about it.
I mean, you know, I'm just thinking as options, because I got the cameras thinking that was gonna be the big thing, but after having them for a little while, they're nice, but they're not always gonna give you everything you're thinking you're gonna get. Yeah, I get the bill every month, yeah.
Well, that system is no, there is no subscription.
So we,
It's a
No subscription.
hardwired, no, it's
One-time
hardwired.
They're gonna wanna sell you a maintenance plan to
Yes, they
do
are.
your stuff every year for your NVR. So if your camera does go down, they come out and get it running again.
so,
Let me do it remotely, if it will go down.
so I guess this is what I would throw out there. If the board would like to have us go back to the drawing board and look at that, we certainly can do that. And we could just reduce the capital by that amount. And if there's enough available.
I mean, as far as looking at downstairs, what Dana's suggestion of going down and buying a camera, but I mean, probably work fine inside the building.
As long as it was wired in, because you're not gonna get cell phone service down there at all, right?
Well, I have
Wi-Fi?
I have
You do?
Ethernet there.
They can make that all work, I'm sure. But I mean, I'd be just curious if there wasn't some way to make it so you could have that hatch that they couldn't. I bet you for 13,000, I could make something of myself.
In concert.
I'll do it for 12 for you.
Adam, I was just curious on the CIP, should.
Yes.
Some of this, not saying it's happened this year, maybe this isn't the time to discuss it, but like some of those filters that we had to do this year, shouldn't that be in like We're gonna have to do that every year.
No, we don't have to do that every year, but that's where the that 60,000 comes in, is that it could be the membranes this year. It could be fixing a bridge crossing next year.
Gotcha.
It could be having to replace a part of the main computer system, another year. I mean, it's just kind of an unknown. That's why it's just a general, sorry to be vague. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I mean, we had two projects this year. Like one is replacing 600 membranes from 2400. That was warranted for 10 years and they're on the 11th year, so like they can go anytime. And other project was to rebuild the pump. So we rebuilt the pump for 11 grand, the new pump was 23. But it's just one pump.
I mean, if it's $60,000 every year, that line probably could go in the regular budget as a capital.
10-year,
But
because
again, it's
It's
the
10-year
accounting,
term.
it's the, however you wanna account for it.
I would push very hard to keep the 60,000 in CIP so it rolls over every year. So that way, in the instance that maybe we only have $10,000 CIP, as you can see by the way this lines up, is it's saving every year and it's building up every year. That's important.
Yeah.
That's how we were able to take care of the last big whammy that we had, was because we've been saving all along.
Yeah.
So we were able to come
So
to
the membranes were how much?
100 and five grand delivered. 102 delivered.
We meet the requirement with that in the grant.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that.
In the funding for that sewer project, the USDA, we had to set aside X number of dollars for maintenance.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's traditionally, that's why we've been doing the 45,000, was to make sure we're putting aside, I'm asking for more though.
Okay.
Well, and most of their projections were on the low side anyway.
Well, the plant is over 10 years old now
Except the
too.
price.
this is an increase of 35,000.
For their, yes. For their CIP.
We only asked for 35,000 last year.
We asked for 45, so we went from 45 to 70.
Sorry, 25.
25, we're both math and doing that.
But yeah, it got cut last year. Did it get cut at town meeting or before town meeting?
For, not CIP, not,
I think the CIP get cut.
Not operation.
not, I don't think that CIP got
Wasn't it
cut.
something to do with generators?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The generators were removed, but the $45,000 for
Yeah.
for the savings was left. Yeah. Generator was removed.
Entertain a motion on the 70 or a number less, number higher.
Make a motion on the 70,000 for CIP for the sewer department.
Second.
Motion and a second, further discussion.
So is that with the 13 in or the 13 out? Or we're taking the 13, we're gonna discuss that further. Okay, all right.
It's in there.
You can, if we decide to spend the 13, it's
We're
part
not
of it.
deciding that we're buying that program, correct?
We're just budgeting the 7,000.
We get 70,000 for down the road.
Right, so if we try, what'll have to happen is, we're going to need your permission to move forward with that camera purchase. And if the board doesn't feel that that's the right thing, then we don't.
Yes. Further discussion? All in
You're
favor?
saying that we're gonna have to go through with the camera?
No.
No.
We're just budgeting $70,000 for capital.
Okay.
If we wanna use whatever for cameras out of that or out of the capital line, that'll come later, whether we wanna do it or not.
Okay, all right.
It has to go out to bid, so we'll have to pay it back.
I'm trying to come up with a percentage. Is this like a? We were at 35,000 last year, we're going to 25, we're like 75% increase here on this. Like, I know we were gonna save for something, but That sound right?
Yeah, but didn't, last year, we already have a reserve built up, so we didn't have to add as much, and we used a big
We
chunk
used
of
it
the
on the
membranes.
membrane.
And we had a bigger
All of our
number when it was
reserve
cut
last year.
back. So we did ask for a bigger number, it was cut back to that number,
The 45.
to 45 at town meeting. Which it might do again this year.
But I mean, in theory, if we raise 70 this year and we only use 10, we have 60 at this point next year. If we decide not to do 60 again next year, we only did 40, then we're right back to where we were last year, right? Because we had money set aside already. Right now, we don't have any, because we just used it. I'm not recommending it, I'm just pointing it out.
We have some there, just, this is a motion and a second for 70,000. Anything else? All those in favor? Opposed? Let's vote.
Thank you, Zeke.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zeke.
I have the one that you make, is that all scheduled?
That's, yep, that's what was scheduled for tonight. We could, if the board would like, could hammer through some of the other CIP, hit on some of the operational budgets that, like debt service and general government, or if you've had enough, we can save it for next time. But if we save it for next time, we might be here for a little while next time, but we won't have any selecting business either, so. What's the board's pleasure?
Bring another one on.
We got debt service going on, that one's usually an easy one to explain, right?
It's what we owe, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah, well, that's what I was
I'll
getting at.
entertain a motion, let's people want to talk about it.
Well, one down is one down.
All right, so debt service is, just real quick, town office, $92,505 is the payment. New road bond, $618,032. Mini pumper, $67,230. Nothing on the ambulance this year because we just settled that in the selectmen's meeting. Front end loader for public works is $76,118. And then we have a total for debt service, not including what's paid by the TIF, of $853,885, which is an increase of $99,000 over last year. Keep in mind, we also have to make our full payments on the water line and sewer line, and that will be paid by the TIF, the difference there. Yeah, the 115 and the 823.
The motion would be for 853,885.
Yes, sir.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
The 89,687 for the ambulance, you said we were taking that out, right?
We did, yeah, I zeroed it out. I was anticipating what you got.
Oh, I see it, my bad, yep, again, looking in the wrong column.
All those in favor?
Oh, general assistance. General assistance, $9,900. Keep in mind that we do get reimbursement from the state for 70%. And this also, however, we included $1,500 for administrative software to help us with our overall tracking and so forth, with general assistance. So $9,900.
Motion?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor? Vote. Next.
Don't stop us, Adam, keep going.
Why don't we, you guys are feeling ambitious, why don't we just go right into the general government one, how's that? And you guys can stop me if you wanna stop along the way. All right, so keep in mind, general government, that includes everything in this building, so that's multiple departments, that's the one-man department, some of them, but, assessing, code enforcement, the town manager, finance, and so on. So the salary line for all those departments is $593,735. That is an increase from last year. Get overtime at $1,800. It's pretty minimal. That's for covering of elections and town meeting and so forth. Boards and committees remains the same at $1,900. That's you guys, planning board, appeals board. The Social Security $38,101. Medicare $89.11, PFMLA $2,969, health insurance $144,427, Retirement, 57,094. Workers' comp, 5520. Electricity, this is up, electricity is up because we took it from the municipal tab and we added the street light electricity in here. So that's 14,412. Telephone is 2258. Internet is 3,648. And one of the reasons that went up is we had a proposal talking to the town clerk and also from the from the public about asking about being able to access Wi-Fi when they're at the counter so that they can, bring up their insurance cards and those kind of things. So that increase for I outlined it right there, it's $184 a month for public Wi-Fi. It's more of a convenience customer service factor. It's not really a need, it's more of a convenience for folks. Water. This is the hydrants. Again, this was taken from the municipal tab and moved over here. And then it's 63,888. So that's $65 a quarter for the town office, but $15,775 quarterly for the hydrants. Around 10. Propane, $6,489. That's a $5,000 decrease because we own the tanks now, and that's based on the bid price. Office supplies, $5,500. Postage, $11,825. Legal notices, $1,000. Elections, $7,105. Election supplies, $3,000. Town report, $2,000. Gas, $11.25. We did increase that some. We are using the town vehicle a lot more. Code enforcement is, and so is assessing. Software, $29,163. There's a couple of new modules that we're trying to add for code enforcement tracking and so forth. And also the social media backup for archiving and freedom of access related stuff. Legal counsel, leave that at $20,000. Equipment rental, $5,200. Printing, $3,000. Professional services, $35,500. That includes the audit. The audit cost has gone up a pretty good chunk this year. That's where you see the biggest piece in that one. Insurance, that's your liability insurance we've mentioned, $23,268. Unemployment, $3,500. Filing fees, $10,000. Dues, doing general admin. This is like our AV cog, which we are using a lot this year finally, which is great. Other professional memberships. What's that? Oh.
You said AV cog.
AVCog.
Never heard it said that one either.
GP cog was where else was we saying? $16,089. Training and conferences, $6,500. Building and grounds, $12,000. And then vehicle maintenance for the vehicle here, $2,500. And then street light maintenance, that came from the municipal tab. I zeroed it out because we actually have a reserve account with money in it for street light maintenance. And I think that when we need money for that in the future, if it gets too low, we'll raise and appropriate that money at that time. So that's a complete general government of $1,160,528. I said all that very fast.
Question. So we had talked about there's certain positions in this budget that you can use some TIF money.
Yes, there are 3 positions that the TIF would allow. We could offset a percentage of the salaries. That's the town manager, the assessor, assessing agent, and finance. So
would that potentially reduce that line? Knowing that you still have to, it's an accounting thing, you gotta appropriate it, but you also have it as a revenue.
Right, we still need to appropriate the 593, but when we, on the debt service on the debt service article where it describes that we're gonna appropriate the whole amount. We're gonna raise, but then we're gonna raise this amount from taxpayers and this amount from the TIF. We could do the same thing with the general government one, which would be about 60-ish thousand rough numbers that we could use from TIFs to cover those salaries. That
I think we ought to do that.
But you'll see that on the warrant, more specifically.
I'll go with my questions of $184 for public Wi-Fi.
Why is that so much?
Well, we asked for a quote, and do you wanna help me out on that one? And
Yeah.
Quote,
so
quote
that-
from who?
That's Two Spectrum, that's our provider, and so the 184 is their recommendation because it provides a separate closed system from the public Wi-Fi. So it's two streams, so we have our secure system, in the town where all of our, operations are on. And this would, be public facing only, and there could be no possibility of crossing over. For the use for the public Wi-Fi right now, people can't use their Wi-Fi inside the building, it's a dead spot, for people,
Cell service.
it's cell service every single day. And if they
Yeah,
are,
just walk out through that door.
we send them outside.
I know, I've gone out there.
Yeah, and we have to tell them that whether it's raining, snowing, no matter their age. Most of the, insurance companies are not providing hard copy cards. By state law, we are required to see their insurance coverage card. So unless they've taken a photo and pre-downloaded it on their, phone, we send them outside. Continuing, and we just don't have any service for people to use, so it slows us down. And if they're out there, there's certain spots, there's one gentleman just yesterday, it was 4 o'clock, we were waiting until 4:10 to let him come back in, because he had to keep walking around the parking lot to find service on his phone to download the app to get his card.
I'm not opposed to it, it just sounds like an awful lot.
It's because it's a closed system, it protects our system.
I do agree with that. I agree with IT, and I agree with what Kathleen's saying. If we're going to have public Wi-Fi, it needs to be 100% separate from our network for security reasons.
And cheaper to run a second internet line in here at $120 a month than the 184. So you have two completely separate internet lines coming in the building, and you're paying two separate internet accounts.
We could certainly look at that, I suppose.
It just, that number just doesn't seem right. It's more than your actual internet connection. And I'm not trying to argue with you or the IT people, but we have the same thing at the county. We do have a public Wi-Fi, it's limited and it's locked down, firewall protected and all that. But we also have an IT person at the county that manages all that and knows how to do all that, so that just seems like a
So the
big number.
difference for our, when our line here, it was set up as an enterprise account. And they no longer have those anymore. It is now a government business account, but because our account, our main account was set up as an enterprise account, they have left it that way,
We're
they're not
grandfathered.
changing it.
That's why it's 120, not 150.
Grandfather.
And the new one is now, what they have our government business accounts. So that's that price difference there, I think. So I had forgot about that, I'm sorry.
Until you mentioned it, I forgot too, so yes.
So they no longer offer the enterprise account.
But that's certainly a savings. We could not do the public Wi-Fi this year.
No, I think it's, she's sold me on it, and the reason for me getting out there for the public to be able to use, in those situations, I think it could be cheaper. Should be cheaper.
So I mean, this is a quote that we've received, and we could look at other options and see if we can find some.
I don't know what other internet options you have coming down this road. I know, so we have Spectrum currently, what's the new high-speed one that's running?
Fidium Fiber.
So I doubt if that comes down here.
Fidium Fiber is down there.
So again, to see what, add a second line if it's cheaper than 184, I think that's what we do instead of giving them that much more money, but.
And that was just a rough quote that they gave us, so they want to sit and speak with the town manager.
So again, we're not talking thousands of dollars here,
It probably will be 150, but I mean, we can appropriate the 184. And then just hopefully find less than that on that one line. And if it's $30 more, it's $500 a year.
Trying to find the receipt from the website company. You probably should get a refund within minutes.
What's wrong with the website company? I'm just kidding.
What's the receipt here? I'm just curious, this one here, it's Harris,
Harris, that's the Trio software. So Trio is what everything runs on Trio in this building, from the clerk's office to assessing, everything runs through Trio. And so the accounting software, all that stuff.
Operating system.
Yeah. Like our main database. Does that answer your question? They have their days too.
Some of this, so again, some of these filing fees for the deeds and printing certified mailers, some of that stuff is recouped when you go, so that must show on the revenue line somewhere. I don't think it's here.
I mean, there's, yes, but pretty minimally, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not like millions of dollars for the revenue, but.
You just get it.
Well, I mean, if the
Constant
registry's,
interest.
we pay $9,000 in the registry a year, 10,000 because they went up on their rates, and now, you know, how much of that gets recouped when people pay off their liens and their liens get lifted, so.
So if we take a look, if we look at the revenue sheet, you know, we do have some of those things listed there. Agent fees, BMV, your marriage licenses, birth certificates, death certificates, for, you know, some of those things are listed in there, so. But Elizabeth is correct, we see those, we do see that through the cost and interest of those when we pay back their back taxes and such, so. Because we add that to what they have to pay us.
Openly, it annoys me that the county government charges the town government filing fees,
Yes, I think that's ridiculous.
when that part of county government operates on a surplus. So, but the state says they can go up on their fees, so they do. But, anything else? Mr. Accountant, entertain a motion.
Motion,
No. 1160528. So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Feeling good? Any more time? Sure. I'm trying to rush you. You're good. All those in favor? Vote. Capital.
Yeah, you want to shift over, because I think, Dana, that the only thing in the operating is revenue itself. Do you want to talk about that real quick, or do you want to?
No, I just know that some of those costs in there are offset by revenue.
Okay. All right, so why don't I start right at general government capital? I just mucked that up.
$7,000 ask.
Yeah, $7,000 ask this year. The ask is actually $10,000 total saving for the future with a $7,000 project. We want to make it so that there's a third clerk window out there, so that the town clerk from our office can also service the lobby. I think that's something we wanted to do when we moved here. We just haven't had the money to do it. So asking for $10,000 overall allows us to do that and save for the future.
Last year?
Zero.
Yeah, we didn't say anything last year.
And I guess I'm supportive of putting in the third window. It was talked about when we moved into this building, but we still have money in the reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Why, is that targeted for something or just?
No, it's not targeted for anything specifically. There's $24,000 in the reserve still. I look at that as if we have a major maintenance issue, like a furnace or any of those kind of things, we do need money to fall back on. So I think it's important to have some money on hand for those issues.
Entertain a motion. Of 10 or just a 7 or something less. Or more.
Something less?
I mean, I would say
I'll move the 10 just for discussion.
second, motion is second. So I would say the 25 grand there, you know,
Maybe we could get that window put in out of some of that money we already got in
Here's my, it's not even this 10,000, it's just, it seems like every CIP is up too, right? Like we get.
it. Well, some of them we didn't do that too much with.
Right.
I mean, we thought that was a
We
good
had to
idea.
explain that, we had to explain that in June, right? We had to explain that why we're asking for this much more when we did, like, so I just feel like we, just because of this open for discussion, right, is, we're gonna have to explain that at some point, why our CIP is up, so just let's be prepared for that, that's all.
If I may, so I think when you look at this, all of the CIP, so we have to decide what direction we wanna go. And what I mean by that is, do we wanna keep borrowing money or not? If the goal is to not borrow money, we need to start setting that money aside every year. What we don't wanna do is, we don't wanna every year just raise and appropriate exactly what we need, because our mill rate's gonna just go all berserk. Because every year, one year we might need $1 million, one year we might only need $300,000. So it's, if we gradually save, the impact is much more even across the board. Or we can decide that we want to start borrowing money. And if that's what we want to do, that's fine. We just need to done routine. That's just my thoughts. That's all.
This is our best guess
and I think that is was the general consensus, I thought,
of the board.
is to wean off borrowing. Absolutely. So the only way to not borrow money is to put some money aside. So again, we've got a motion and a second for the 10. What?
What would you like to say about that?
Sure.
What's your thoughts about it?
So the reason for the third window, I guess.
Do you have any more?
I didn't say that because I already know. I had this discussion of why the third window. And I'll explain it if you don't want to. So the reason for the third window, as you know, you have deputy clerk, assistant clerk at the very front. The clerk sits in the middle, kind of out of the way. She's in there doing work. She's doing election stuff. She's doing general assistant stuff. She's doing everything she does over there. If she's needed, because there's a long line of people, she can whip around to her third window and help somebody that's been waiting a while. If one of those girls are at lunch or on vacation or out sick, she doesn't have to leave her desk to go out to the other desk, so stop her work completely back and forth. It's more for expediency of dealing with.
So you're basically gonna make it right in your office?
Yeah, so.
Because you can be at your desk, but you'll be able to get it. I mean, I don't think that's a bad
My
idea.
request for the town manager was so that when you come into the lobby, you see my assistant, my deputy clerk, and then there's those 2 doors to a closet that we really don't use for anything. Is to take those 2 doors out, actually put another window in there, right where my office is. And so that I would have a front facing window at tax time. We have long lines.
Could do 3 people at one time instead of just 2.
Yeah, so we can, dog licensing, it takes a long time to do dog licensing because of the new programs of the state. So it really slows down the line. So just being able to hop on and help them out and also continue to do my work from my computer, because all of our computers are log-based to us. And not have to go to one of their computers and either completely log them off, log myself on to try to access my work. It's a time saving and it's convenience, and I think it's a benefit for the public.
You can keep your own cash drawer and not have to save or share.
It's exactly how it was in the old time.
Just gonna ask that.
Remember, I used to get up and come when it was busy and I had my own station. It's
Right now, if somebody wants to
Huge.
speak to me, I'm going and walking one of them off their, you've seen me do it, I'm walking them off their
being able to help somebody while I'm answering questions.
I don't have a problem with that. Just to clarify, I wasn't picking on this, I'm just saying, in general, we need to be ready to explain that. Just like you did, I think you're doing a good job explaining it, you've been pretty consistently explaining, but it's gonna seem a little weird to a lot of people, I think, when we're asking for this savings.
Yeah. Well, and not to sound disrespectful, it's just, in a town meeting, as soon as it's not to do it, then we don't do it. But I do think that I think this is important enough that if it doesn't happen this year, then we need to ask next year. I think this needs to.
I think there's money there, if we don't appropriate it this year, we could take the money out of the capital, out of the remaining balance from when we purchased the building. But I do think it's important we have some money there, so if we do have something, these urgent repairs.
No, not if, when, because something's gonna happen. There's gonna be a water leak, there's gonna be something.
Nope, there won't be.
So, any further discussion on the?
Guess what, we're gonna die. All right, nobody's changed, it's fact.
No further discussion, all those in favor? So,
Is that for the 10?
that's also a bid item, right? Or is that a quote? I think it's three quotes.
You did get 3 quotes.
I'm comfortable with that. Those people, how we can do that work.
There's some pretty simple capitals, you want me to hit those real quick? We still got some go,
Capital.
Thompson Lake,
It'd be right behind.
What you got right now?
Oh, that's why there's so many of those, I see.
yes,
I just.
General government capital to, right in the same tab.
yes, there should be one right where the other. So Thompson Lake, the ask is $10,000 this year, and we've been saving $10,000 a year towards this. We have a retaining wall that we need to replace in the near future down there. One of the big expenses that I'm gonna be bringing to you guys to bring you up to speed shortly is that the center gate, the lifting mechanism just all went to crap recently. That's something that it's an emergency repair because it won't close. It needs to be open right now, but we can't do anything with it. So Bancroft, Jim from Public Works has got Bancroft already on it. So we're gonna be tapping into that to fix that. Saving towards that retaining wall in the future. So the ask is 10,000. We get 15,000 every year from the other towns. I believe it's
555?
5 in Poland, Casco, Otisfield, thank you. So the ask of town meeting is 10.
Do we ask the other towns for more than that?
We haven't, no.
Well, I was just thinking, obviously everything's going up, right? So at what point do we start asking,
So
you know?
if we ask the other towns for more money, I'm sure they would love to talk to us about that. But they will probably bring up the fact they would like to be involved in more of a controlling factor of what's done with the dam. That's been-
I mean, wasn't that what Otisfield told us in the beginning?
Yep.
They would give us more, but they were gonna.
They wanted to vote at the table for what we're doing with the dam.
And the problem with that is,
What's the percentage
We
of
figured it was Dan.
waterfront
Yeah.
property for each
so
town?
we'll pay, it's our damn, we'll pay for it.
Do you know the percentage of waterfront property?
Seems like a good argument.
Not off the top of my head, no.
I'm not sure that was.
Anybody? Maybe now is not the time, but at our next selectmen's meeting, regular meeting,
I don't even
we'll
know
put on
now.
the agenda item, I'd
We
like
can
to
prove
ask
this.
each town to increase their 5 to
I
10.
like where, I know you're going with this, now it's on you, and I was gonna say that. I make a motion to, approve 10,000 for the Thompson Lake capital, Thompson Lake Dam capital plan.
Second. All in favor? Vote. If you didn't hear me, I asked Adam to put this on for an agenda item next meeting to send out official ask to the other towns to increase
Next meeting?
our next,
Not budget meeting?
well, every budget meeting we have is technically a selectmen's meeting. So
Right.
it can go on next week's meeting.
I'm just,
I think it'll be a very quick topic.
okay.
There ain't nothing quick here.
We're doing good.
It'll be pretty quick.
Wellsville's quick, nothing.
Make a motion to approve 0 for
Perfect. All right, cemeteries, the ask is $5,000. There are two things slated for this year to take care of, and that is $1,200 for Craigie Cemetery fence and Weberbrook Cemetery fence. Public Works is gonna do the work, we'll buy the materials.
I'll make a motion to approve $5,000. Discussion. All those in favor? Vote. Are we doing, are we doing stone cleaning still?
Yep, so the 5,000, it's kind of, yeah, there's still stone cleaning, it's supposed to, it's perpetual care, there's 14,000 in there.
Okay. What else? Anything else?
So, police, we've already set aside, public works, we set us taking care of town roads, fire EMS, I'm just kind of ripping through these, public safety building, recreation, transfer, no, is that, I think we're, for what, other than what we got left for the next one, so that's probably a good go for tonight. Unless
Did
you
you
want.
do Welchville, Dan?
Yeah. Nothing there. We approved zero.
It's because we have the grant money to work.
Can I ask one more question?
That's up to the chair.
What did you end up with for a total for fire?
They didn't.
We didn't vote on the actual fire budget.
So you haven't, okay,
That will be continued for next year.
I have 588,000 for 649 for payroll. How do you,
You gotta list that out for us for the next meeting.
okay, but you guys have the same numbers I do?
Oh, yeah.
588, 649.
Because, yeah. Well, I thought she said the total she wanted was 589.
Well, she wants more than that.
Right.
She wants more than that. The town manager has recommended to the board 588, 649.
I thought E&G was, that you guys had all agreed on. Okay, doesn't matter. At least I got, the numbers are right. I thought I had the wrong numbers. One more question.
She was here at the budget committee, the budget committee had some other ideas.
When you said you were going to eliminate 2 positions in the full-time fire people.
We haven't said, we've talked about that. We haven't said.
Okay, but my question is, can you do that if you've already signed contracts with them? Can you change what
It's
you
two
do?
that are not there, Lois.
Huh?
It's two that are not there.
There's no contrary.
They're
It's
not
not there.
They're
Right,
not
no,
filled.
but I'm thinking too. She's thinking that we've already got them working and we.
No.
They're not even, we haven't been able to fill it, we're just gonna do away with it.
We're not looking to lay anybody off.
No, I thought you were gonna reduce. Well, anyway.
Yeah, but she hasn't filled all the full-time positions yet, so we're gonna eliminate,
Are you
my thought would be-
eliminating the position or are you
eliminate
not
probably
funding
two of
it?
them, correct?
Which is it? You're eliminating the 2 positions or are you
We're not
not
gonna
funding
fund
them?
Well, if you don't fund them, they will be eliminated.
No, they stay on the books and she can come back another year and ask for, she isn't asking you to, do all that we went through, asking for you to create the positions again. She's just gonna ask you whether you'll pay for it.
I think what you're gonna see at the next budget meeting is that you're gonna see the fire department come back up and we're gonna provide a list to the board of the pay rates. And there's gonna be discussion on what direction is the best to go, whether to reduce the full-time slots, increase per diem, or just increase per diem, or leave it the same. I think it's all up in the air right now, if I'm not
Can you have
mistaken.
that for the police department?
Yes. You guys don't, I think I gave you guys a
So
break.
we had a breakdown of, you had sent us a sheet on all town employees and what their current rates are.
Yeah. Do you want that for the PD?
That's probably enough if you resupply that to make sure everybody has it. And what the per diem rates are for fire and police, whether it's per diem or part-time, we don't call it same thing.
Yep. Okay, yeah, so current rates for PD, FD with per diem, okay.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
All those in favor?
Thank you guys, appreciate you sticking through all that.
Beth, you got 1 second.